Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's the Champions League quarter-final and semi-final draws this morning, followed by the quarter-final and semi-final draws for the Europa League as well. We're here live throughout the course of this morning. We'll take some of your thoughts, we'll take your feelings, we'll even take some calls for you today. KJ joining me in a few moments' time. But before we go any further, hit the like button. Very important to us that you do that. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well, but you click the bell notification button. Really, really, really helps us when you do that because the algorithm is not your friend. You'll never know when we go live unless you have it turned on. Good morning to Ant here. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Big up to yourself as well. Who else we got here? We've got Blue in the house. Come on, San Siro, please. He wants a trip, a nice little trip to Italy. Why not? Beautiful part of the world. Let's have a look at some more of your comments this morning. Anyone except City is what my guy here has got to say. Good morning, Terry. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, feeling all right, my friend. I'll say that and then it'll all start again. I sometimes think things like that are psychosomatic. So let's ignore it. No chat about it, and we'll see if that helps. Thank you very much for being so kind, though. I appreciate it. Terry, a typo in the title. What's the typo? Champions League. Where's the type? Oh, on the thumbnail. Yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that updated, my friend. I've just seen it now. See, those are the things that dyslexic people like me do not see. We just don't see it because we're not built that way. God did not shine down kindly upon me when it came to reading for some reason. Do you know what I mean? But it gave me many other talents. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Amongst everything else. But listen, it's going to be an interesting one today. Not as many English teams in there as just on a purely biased basis I would like, especially with Arsenal dropping out last night as well. But we move, we go on. From a United point of view, I'm not even going to lie to you. Arsenal not being in this from a Man United perspective is great news because we remove a really good team. They weren't great over these two legs. There's no doubt about that. We know they weren't great over these two legs. However, they are still a top team nevertheless. So I think that we need to be. I'm grateful as a United fan they're out. I'm not even going to lie about it. Not even going to cap about it. I'm just grateful they're out. Simple as that. Right? I'm updating the thumbnail now for you all so that that's all kind of looking normal. Bear with me 30 seconds and I'll be with you completely and utterly. Yes, that's the right one. I'm making sure I'm override. What I need to make sure I do is override the right file to save because what I don't want to do is what I've done many times before. Is you override, save it over something else that you need. There we go. Boom. That's updated, so it should look normal for you. We're going to bring KJ out now to have a chat with us this morning as well. Actually, I'm going to let him finish his mouthful of breakfast first of all. Just see him put a mouthful of food in. I'll let him finish his breakfast first, and then I'll bring him on. Man City, United, West Ham, and Chelsea are the only teams playing in Europe this season. That's very, very true, my friend. Very, very true indeed. Arsenal has drawn Crystal Palace. Well, Crystal Palace this morning sacked Patrick Vieira. So what impact does that have before this weekend's game, depending on who they bring in? Could there be a bounce? Could there be, whenever you're playing a team who are struggling, you never want to be the team that plays them when they've just gone and got a new manager. Nobody ever wants that. Steve says, I would like Man City to get Bayern or Real Madrid because it would be another big team out. As Chelsea fan, I hope we get Benfica. Now, Steve, that's exactly the right way to look at this. I always look at the draws. I want it to be strategic. Sometimes I want harder teams. So if Arsenal was still in this, I wanted Arsenal in the next round because I think that while they're in their title race, we'd have had more of a chance of beating them over two legs because I think they would have rotated. However, you always want the better team to draw each other because that guarantees one big boy's out. So yeah, I absolutely get where you're coming from with that, mate, and I think you're beyond spot on. Terry, do you feel we'll bounce back from our defeat? I'm kind of worried. Hark, obviously you're an Arsenal fan. Disappointing night last night. However, and I mean, I genuinely think you'll be okay. You may not win the league. I've said this all along. I think you will, but of course, I'm not 100% writing off Man City doing it because that would be a stupid notion. I sort of think about it from the perspective of so far this season, you've bounced back from most periods of adversity. You bounce back from poor results. And that's what last night was, a poor result. Remember, though, you didn't lose. You drew 2 games. You went out on penalties. And barring the heroics of their goalkeeper last night, you probably would have gone through. If you played that game again and all the same chances fell to both teams, Arsenal would probably go through because you created really good chances. You just weren't clinical. There'll be disappointment, but I think Mikel Arteta has got the ability to harness that and turn that into a weapon as opposed to the team falling away. Man United lost 7-0 2 weeks ago. Since then, we smashed Real Betis. We beat them away in Spain, where we only have a 30% win record away in Spain. We only drew with Southampton, but the circumstances of the game is we went down to 10 men, but we stayed resolute. We beat Fulham this weekend. That's a brilliant bounce back from, on paper, in terms of the size of the result, the worst result in the history of our club. Of course, losing cup finals, etc., hurts a lot more than losing a game like that to Liverpool. But contextually, that's the bounce back. And if we can do it, I'm pretty sure Arsenal can, my friend. Give me Lukaku and or Rui Costa. We've got some. We've got some for them. Can Lukaku play if you get into Milan? I'm intrigued to know if he can. Todd Miller here says, I find it a blessing in disguise that Arsenal always bottle European football. Up the Chelsea, give me Milan. Any Milan will do. Yeah, Arsenal, you know what? As a kid growing up, I never really thought about um I never really thought about Chelsea. Sorry, Arsenal as being a team that bottles European games. It never kind of felt that way. If you get where I'm coming from, it was always they're one of they're one of the Europeans' big boys. They're highly competitive in Europe. They've had some great runs. Obviously, they won the Cup Winners' Cup, which I know people were slagging it off last night, but it was a big trophy. Let's not get it twisted. It was a big trophy. It just format changed. I don't actually think it's a format that should have changed, if I'm being absolutely honest. But yeah, I think that it's one of those interesting ones for me where I kind of look at it from the perspective of pedigree matters in European competitions. It genuinely matters and it genuinely means something. And I just think there's something missing there. I think once Arsenal win one and they start to build up a winning mentality in Europe, it just hits different. I've watched about 5 La Liga games this year where Real Madrid have played, and I'm not going to lie to you, they have looked distinctly average. Distinctly average. I watched them play in the Champions League, and they're a different, resolute team. And that is clearly a mindset shift when they play in European football. There is something different about them. And you know, like Liverpool, they just got knocked out, but that was by a team with even bigger European heritage than they have. There's definitely something in it. I'm not sure whether it's the feeling and emotion from the fans. Like last night at the Emirates, obviously I wasn't there, but I was listening through the television. I had my TVs quite loud when I watched football. There were large periods where there was barely any atmosphere. That's a nervous energy. Arsenal don't have that in league games or domestic games because for some reason they don't have the same history. They have a brilliant history domestically. They really do. Even during their barren period, they've still won what 3, 4 FA Cups, which are big trophies. But the fans understand how it goes, how it feels. In European football, you get this kind of silence, this nervous energy, and I think the fans play a big part into how teams perform in Europe. I really do. Lengen Sweet here says, give me Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. Easy win. Let Haaland cook. I love the confidence there, my friend. I'm loving the confidence from you. Genuinely, I am loving that confidence. Who agrees with Lengen Sweet? They're the toughest 2 games you could get, probably barring Napoli. But I get a feeling Napoli wouldn't be scared of any of you, but Napoli would want those big teams in the final. Because then I think in any one game, I think Napoli could beat these sides. I think over 2 legs, Napoli get beat by those 3 teams. Even Liverpool, for as bad as they've been this season, beat them in the second leg or the second game. So do you get where I'm coming from? There's almost this element of like, as good as Napoli are, they're going to want to avoid the big boys until the final as well. I think over 2 legs, they may struggle against teams just with more experience, great quality squads, especially if the game in Napoli doesn't end by more than a 2-goal margin. I think they'll find it really hard. As good as they are. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on them. What do you think? Nato, you're capping. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. So again, challenge me, but don't just say I'm capping. Explain why I'm wrong. I'm giving you my logic. And I think I'll give you my logic. So I would like you to challenge my logic and not my opinion. what I've said isn't important. Why I've said it is the key. For me, I think that they're a very good team, Napoli, on the up and up. But when it comes to playing these big teams in Europe, if they don't have big leads going into the legs away from home, or the leg away from home is first, the fan atmosphere, the fact that those three clubs know how to handle, well, two of those clubs know how to handle Europe impeccably well, I just don't know if they can get through them. One-off games are very different, especially neutrally. So, yeah, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that, my people. KJ is joining me now this morning on the show. Make sure I've got the right backdrops ready. Yes, I do. Morning, my friend. How are you?
Always love a cheeky Champions League draw and a cheeky Europa League draw after that. We won't talk about the Conference League because no one really want to chat about that. But yeah, I enjoy the draw. These things, I don't know why, they're like fun little things within football, for me anyway. Draws for cups and draws for competitions, I love. Shirt number releases, these little nerdy things, I'm into it, innit? So yeah, I'm excited to see what the Champions League's got in store for us this season in the quarters and semis. Some really good ties could be drawn. Some really good ties could be drawn, and I'm excited to see what kind of ties we get. The football should be good, and for the first time in a while, actually not the first time in a while, but this season especially, it doesn't feel like there's one team that should run away with it, which makes it even more exciting. You've got the top three teams, which I think is Man City, Bayern, and Real Madrid, and then after that, you've got teams that on their day could do a little something. You know what I mean? You're talking about Napoli there. Benfica have been playing really well in Champions League this year. Hey, listen, Chelsea in the Champions League. Whenever they look like they're bad in the league, they turn up in the Champions League. Like, so you've got these teams in amongst it that could cause a little bit of damage to the bigger teams as well. So yeah, looking forward to the draw. And yes, I am wearing a Bayern Munich shirt because I like football shirts. Again, I'm a football nerd. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll allow KJ that one today as it's Champions League day. Yeah, look, I like the draws because the draw, especially this is my favorite draw of the season because you get your pathway. You know who you're going to get in the forthcoming rounds. You understand it a bit more. So again, United haven't been in the Champions League quarterfinal draws very regularly in the last 10 years, but I was always excited. Back in the day when we were in it, it's like, okay, who are we going to get? Who are we going to be playing? It always made it a little more fun for me, understanding that. But yeah, and obviously we're going to move on to the Europa League a little bit later. But I wanted to ask you about Man City, Cage, because Arsenal fans last night, in terms of the title race, there was a split in the comment section. The panel didn't really answer the question. Even Igal's signal went when I asked him. But City playing 2 games a week and still being in the FA Cup, do you think that's better or detrimental to their chances of winning the Premier League? So, yes, it's a Champions League draw, but the impact on them winning the domestic league, is it better or worse for City to be in this, in your opinion?
I think it'd be good for City. It gives them that chance to keep fighting. If you go out of the Champions League and then out of the FA Cup, I think this City team right now, they will probably start to be deflated. Just like, we haven't got it anymore. You know what I mean? We haven't won. They haven't won their seasonal Carabao Cup, which they normally do. It would be deflating to see that they're not winning as many trophies as they used to anymore. So I feel like if they're in these competitions, it'll give them that drive and that hunger to be like, right, we can go on all these fronts. These players will be hungry to prove a point as well. You've got players like De Bruyne on the bench in the Premier League. You got Mahrez on the bench in the Champions League. These players are all hungry to play right now, and they've got something to fight for. They could do it. Let's not forget, they could do a treble. That's only been done once in the Premier League era by Manchester United. So they're on for a three-peat and the treble. Are you telling me they'd rather play 1 game a week? No. They want all these trophies because at the end of the day, multiple trophies are what you're going for. If you are seeing that you can win and you can win and you can win under no matter what circumstances, the belief in your team, the belief in your squad goes higher. So I honestly believe Man City being in the Champions League and the FA Cup does not hinder them in the title race. It might enhance them because they'll get into a flow of just winning, of just getting over the line. Because right now, for Man City, they probably don't care how they play, as long as they get the W's. As long as they get the W's, that's all they care about. And if they get into their rhythm, which we know they can do, this is what people will be afraid of, them getting into their flow. Now, normally people say their flow is playing beautiful football, winning 6-0 here, 3-0 there, da, 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 da. Nah, their flow is just winning games, no matter what. You know what I mean? So yeah, like this is not a bad thing. And I would love to see how far teams that win the Premier League go into in their other competitions. Like, because so Liverpool won it and they weren't in the Champions League. What time did they go out of that? Man City have obviously won it multiple times and got to the final once while winning the league, I think. So I'm curious to see how that actually affects them.
I think if you look at City seasons where they in the last 5 years, they've gone pretty deep. They've gone quarterfinals, semis, or finals pretty much every single season. So it's not hindered them. Liverpool, when they won the league, they went out to Atletico Madrid just before the lockdown period, and I think that was the quarterfinals they went out in. Oh no, it must have been around the 16 because of the dates, because it was about this time 3 years ago the world started shutting down. So it was a round of 16 as an example, but they were already far and away clear. I think for me, I understand where you're coming from, but I look at it along the lines of sorry, someone just tweeted something. I want to see if it's true, because if it isn't, I'm blocking.
Yeah, are you looking at what you think?
About Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I'm just checking he hasn't passed away. No, he hasn't. Very, very weird thing to write, my friend.
Yeah, people, please don't do that. That's very insensitive to do to anyone.
Yeah, and it's just weird. It's just weird. Like there's actually no reason to write it. Very strange. But yeah, I think from my standpoint, it's very much a case of, I think being in more competitions is good for rhythm. Now, it can create fatigue and it can create problems if you start losing in those games. But I think it's important to be fighting all through. I think one of the things that PSG suffer with is they have a lack of competitiveness week in, week out in their league. And that at some point spills over into the Champions League. Yes, they've got to a final and they've lost it. But generally, they go out round of 16, quarterfinals. And when they go up against the teams that just have more competitiveness against them in their leagues, even Bayern Munich, as much as they win their league most years, there's a lot of good teams in Germany. France, every now and then you get a team that goes toe-to-toe with PSG that are good, that normally lasts 1 year, and then they lose 3 or 4 or 5 of their players, and then they fall away again. Monaco had a little period where for a couple of years they were really good. Lille have had a couple of good teams in recent years, but then their teams get pillaged, all the players get taken away, and it becomes too easy for PSG again. It becomes a kind of it becomes a problem. And I sort of feel that I think City being in it won't be an issue for them. Plus, the great clubs try to they do two things. They win every trophy, they possibly can in a selected period, or nearly every trophy, especially the big ones. And they go for multiple trophy winning seasons. Again, I think about the greatest Premier League teams of all time, or top flight Premier League teams of all time. Liverpool in the 70s and 80s, Man United in the 90s, Man United in the noughties, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea team. You've got this Pep Guardiola team. They have seasons where it's an FA Cup and the league, an FA Cup, a league cup and the league, Champions League and Premier League, trebles. All these teams have done that. Why was last season almost so special for Liverpool? Because they were fighting for a quad. Now, if Liverpool would have sacrificed, and when I say sacrifice, if they'd have thrown in some much weaker teams into the FA Cups, into the League Cups, as an example, they may have gone on to win the league. They may have gone on to win the league. But you gamble. We were talking about this last night. I was enjoying listening to you all, but it's a gamble to do it. And Fergie gambled too much, in my opinion, with the League Cup, and then he started to do it with the FA Cup. When people don't realize with United, from about sort of 2009 onwards, once Tevez was gone, Ronaldo was gone, and Hargreaves didn't recover from his injury, the Glazers weren't investing in the squad like they should have been. The new investment money only started to come in when the new TV deal money came in 3 or 4 years later. We started rotating too much, even for FA Cup games for me. And there was a few years where we really should have done better in the FA Cup, but we didn't, because the manager put all these eggs into, right, let's try and win the Champions League and the Premier League, because the squad just wasn't. You've got to remember, you think back to even Fergie's teams, people like Danny Welbeck were our backup strikers, who we know now, looking back, was nowhere near good enough. Darren Gibson was one of our main midfielders. We were running on fumes. We had a really good squad that was built before and just at the beginning of the Glazers' reign. But 4, 5, 6 years in, once they'd hemorrhaged all that money out the football club, it was running out. We were in for people like David Silva, in for people like Aguero, and we never got them over the line. City did, who at the time shouldn't have been able to beat us, the players. We just didn't have the money. And the reason I bring this up is because I just sort of feel like when you build a squad, you should be aiming to build the biggest squad possible. Fans should be demanding that your clubs invest every penny it's got into having the biggest squad possible, because all of us should be striving for our teams to be the greatest ever. We should all be striving to be the greatest ever. And even under Ten Hag, I want him to achieve more. He probably won't ever win as much for us as Fergie because of time. I don't think we'll spend 25 years here. But I would love him to have a 4 or 5 year period that eclipses Fergie. Why? Because it pushes the legacy and the heritage and the history of my club up another level. So that's why when I see fans go, oh, I'm happy we're out of the League Cup, we can focus on this. I'm happy we're out of this European competition because we can focus on this. I just think I think it's small-minded. I think it's deflecting away from your actual disappointment. And two, it's a case of, why are you not aiming for the stars? The irony is this: if you want to win it and you still go out, you're in the same position of not winning it. But why kind of cap and create this mentality of, it doesn't matter if we don't win it. It should always matter if you win a competition or not.
I think there's a difference between accepting that if you lose, it might happen, and then you can go on and do other things. Like I remember when we got Barcelona, it was one of those ones where I accepted the fact that this is going to be a hard tie. If we go out, it would be difficult. But I said at the time, I wanted the Europa League, and I still do. So the fact that we got over that hurdle, I was happy with. But if we had lost, I would have been upset. And then I would have been like, okay, again, with copium, I've been like, okay, at least now we can try and just focus on top 4, but I would be upset. What I've seen from some Arsenal fans and some United fans when they go out, and some fans in general, is, we didn't want it anyway. You know what I mean? Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's just this. It's just that. It's just like, we need to stop doing this as football fans. We want every trophy. To be the best in the world, the best in your country, you have to have the most trophies. And that includes your Carabao Cups, your Europa Leagues, your FA Cups, all these small Mickey Mouse trophies. It includes all of them. And so we need to get out of this mindset of, this means nothing. Like, we can just do whatever we want because it's a nothing. Nonsense. Nonsense. Because if you do not win a trophy this season and you're a team that could have won a trophy, it looks bad. How many years did Man United go on a trophy drought for? 6 years. 6.
Exactly. I don't like this notion that's been created, and it's why I say ahead of this Champions League draw, City it's not even being discussed for some strange reason. We're only 2 months until the end of the season. City are on for a treble. They're legitimately on for a treble, which would make it the second greatest achievement by an English team. And I say second because it would be the second time it's been done. But if they get more points, if they win in more spectacular fashion, they break records while doing it. Some people may say the greatest ever achievement by an English team. Why are you not striving for the greatest achievements possible each season? And the word failure is interesting, because is it a failure if City don't win a trophy this year? Yes. Them having won trophies before doesn't mean this isolated season isn't a failure. It doesn't mean you've got to sack a manager or get rid of all the squad, but it is a failure. If Man United from this point don't make the top 4, and I think, I'm not saying don't win one more trophy because we've already won one. If we don't get ourselves, into some semi-finals or into another final, I will look at it as failure. And every time you fail to win a competition, it is failure. But I suppose the word failure, it's a bit like when it's like when I say people are scared of Arsenal. They get triggered by it. I ain't scared. I'm a big man. I don't mean hiding under your bed. I don't mean failure to a point where it means you're going to be sacked. But if I go in for a business deal and I have meetings and we draw up a plan and we do the pitch, and I'm told no at the end of my business meeting, if I'm told no, I've failed. I've failed in my pursuit of that contract. And it's just something people have got to learn. There's a super chat here that says, why didn't you do a Ten Hag is scared video after we mentioned Arsenal's injuries like you do with everyone else? Well, I did do a video where I featured it. So let's not pretend I didn't mention it. The reason I didn't is because his words, they weren't even twisted. people didn't listen to what he said. He was talking about how he wants more players available, and he says, and his words were, "Just hope I watch Arsenal, and hopefully we can be like them because most of the time they have their first team available." Now he hasn't used exactly the right words, but he quite literally said, "I hope to be more like them." Because most of the time they have their first team available, and they had that is not him saying there was injury. They've not had no injuries, and that isn't him saying they've got 100% of their team available. Almost have. They've had one player missing for 3 months, and they've had a couple of people that have missed a handful of games. He wasn't attacking Arsenal. If anything, I felt he was being complimentary. The media twisted it with the whole never thing, so that's why I said that. And plus, I've not said, people keep saying as well, I don't feature people being nice about Arsenal. Ali McCoy's featured on the show yesterday. His snippet. No one's talking about that. It's cap that I don't do it. Terry, what happened to the top 6 team pods on Twitch? Curious as to what happened. They're still on Twitch. We still stream them to Twitch every show.
No, he's talking about the
teams.
specific.
I'll tell you what happened to them. Nobody watched them, and we're not going to pay hosts to run shows, and then no one watch them because I can't afford to pay someone to run a show that nobody watches. So that's on the audience for not going over there and watching it. If I'm being honest with you, so blame the viewers. Yeah, one day we try things. If they work and people enjoy it, we keep doing it. If nobody watches, we step away from it, my friend. It is what it is. The Champions League draw is coming up very, very soon. Tom Little's joining us now on the show as well. Tom, welcome back, my friend. Who are you hoping to get today?
Wait, what review do you want, Terry?
No, we'll go back. Keep on that one. Yeah.
Wait, are you wearing that again?
No, it's me Bayern uniform. I'm reffing you.
Yeah. All right, okay, cool. I thought you wore that Real Madrid jersey again, bro.
No, I've had plenty of stick over that. Still stand by why I wore it though. Anyway, I think it could be.
You're trying to judge it, innit?
Yeah, that was all. That was all I was trying to do. Didn't work. But I think what I want out of today's draw, I so want Napoli Man City. Because I really think that could be a boss tie. I'm obviously we're out now, so I just want good ties. I just want something I can tune in on a Tuesday and Wednesday and watch.
The Rams quarterfinal draws were he had everything. He had spectacle,
Napoli, Man City,
storylines,
Real Madrid. Who was it? Real Madrid.
I forgot Real Madrid. It was Chelsea.
Real Madrid, Bayern.
Real Madrid,
Bayern, Chelsea, Benfica, because Enzo Fernandez.
I know, and then
the
two
Milan derby.
Milan teams. Yeah. All right, yeah. I cannot wait to get back in this competition, man. I need it. I need it, man.
How does it feel, Tom, on a real level?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw Babs last night. He did a story on his Insta, and I thought, again, there's part of me that's sort of like, I get your point, but you're definitely hurting with the whole. It was like him turning off his TV after defeat, going, "Oh well," and it switched to another screen in his room where it was playing the Champions League theme music, and he's going, "Next season doesn't matter." I'm like, it does matter because it's a tournament that you should want to win. But how does it feel in reverse though, where you've gone out and there's a massive chance that
it's Europa League next year.
It's Europa League, yeah.
It's not great. It's not great. I've got to be honest. Especially since when you look at the teams around us, it's not like it's, United, Arsenal, United, Tottenham, Chelsea, all at their peak, and it's always going to be very hard to get in. Tottenham at times look like they don't want to get in. Newcastle have been bitty since the return after the World Cup. Brighton are the biggest threat, but we're our own worst enemy, and I could give you the shameless reason: finish 8th, just so I can go in Europa Conference, so I can have all 3. Apart from that, I don't want Europa League. I don't want to be spending my Thursday nights in the back arse of Slovenia.
No, but Conference League is worse, Tom. Conference League, you'll go to Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's fine because I confirm that because I'll be guaranteed a Conference League trophy. So then we could sit there and be the only club in European history to have won all 3.
So you are rather complete the set in the Conference League than just being a better competition. You know what? Fair play. You know what?
I want us to be like Mourinho. You know how Mourinho's got the tattoo of all 3 of them. I just
yes, Fraser.
Right.
Just some sorry, I want to interject for it. Some breaking news. Some very exciting news for Manchester United fans. Erik ten Hag has confirmed that Christian Eriksen is about to return. He won't be ready for Sunday, but he'll be ready for April after the international break. He is about to come back. And that's probably a month earlier than everybody expected him to be. And I think with Casemiro missing and the lack of controlling games, Eriksen coming back, honestly, that has made my morning. That has made my
we
morning
can push.
seeing
We
that
can
news.
push for these cups now.
Do you think
Yeah,
Fred
exactly.
and Eriksen work together though, or is it gonna have to be like Fred?
No,
Eriksen?
it'll be Fred or a McTominay next to Eriksen, with Bruno playing in his role. Yeah. It won't be.
Or we might see Sabs.
Yes,
Eriksen.
Spitzer in him. Yeah, I mean, I think listen, we're going to struggle without Casemiro anyway. But having Eriksen back is huge because we've missed his control in that. And do you know what's really funny? Honestly, what's really funny about about Christian Eriksen is, again, the outrageaholics were getting to a point just before his injury that he's too slow, he's tired, he ain't really having great games. He obviously misses like 5-6 weeks now because of injury, and everyone's like, yeah, I can really see why we miss him. I can see what he did now. This is what Man United fans do. I'm not sure if every other fan base is like this. I only notice it with United. We kick off and cry about certain players because they don't quite tickle our boxes. It could be passing is great, his ability is where I want it to be, but he doesn't quite have the explosive speed I want, so they hate on him. And then the player goes missing because of injury or suspension or leaves, and they go, could do with him back. We did it to Zlatan. Everyone complained about Zlatan when he was in our team, slowed us down problems. And then up until now, we haven't had a striker that's replaced him. And that's been 6 years. Like, we haven't had a number 9 who's come in and been as good as he was for us. United fans are absolutely clapped in their heads. Some of them are genuinely, I think they were dropped on their heads as babies. Multiple times by their mums, because the stuff they come out with is unbelievably stupid. Stupid. That's all I'm going to say. Absolutely stupid.
We had our friend Ranieri come out as well. The chat was telling me, Ranieri was out doing his thing.
Yeah,
on the Champions League stage.
I see. I wouldn't mind. You know, I wouldn't mind in this round though. I wouldn't mind a Milan derby. Just for the like the one. Neither team goes away. They both play at home. I don't know if people. Most viewers will know this because they play computer games. I was as a kid when I found out I remember being a kid and playing FIFA, and it used to bring their stadiums up. But what it used to do, FIFA, is it would show a different angle of the stadium, so it kind of looked different. And I never realized, I didn't clock for years they play at the same stadium. My brother told me, I'm like, no, they don't. He goes, yeah, they do. They play at the same place. Same as Bayern Munich share their stadium as well, don't they? With something. Bayern Munich share their stadium, don't they?
I think they used to, but I think
Is that changed now?
Yeah, because I think they used to share it with Hertha Berlin or something. Or no, it was a lower league team. No, I remember it was a lower league team, but it was only like a year or two.
Or the old stadium.
Yeah. No. Oh, yes. Yeah. 1860 Munich previously had a 50% share in the stadium, but Bayern Munich purchased it from them. But do they still play there? Like, anyone who watches the league, do they still play there? They may not own it, but where do they play? Let me just click on their what is their ground? Oh no, they have moved now. They've moved to some. Oh no, is that what they've moved to? Bless them. Imagine being at that and moving to what they've gone to. It looks like a bus shelter now they've moved to. My word.
Oh, man.
But yeah, there we go. I knew they did, but again, I don't follow their league like deeply every day, so it's hard to know. But yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit of that. But I get what you're saying. Napoli versus City would be really, really good. But listen, I don't want City to do it. I want City out because they've been so good under Pep. Every year I have the same thing of I just need them to go out of certain competitions, so quads and trebles are not attainable because they're winning loads of trophies. But until they win a Champions League and until they do a quad or a treble, my team's always a bit above them because they always go on achievements. And I tweeted something yesterday as well, and I did it for a bit of bait. I tweeted yesterday, and I want to ask you two boys this question as well. What's been the greatest era? And people don't understand era because they were writing 1 year, but 2012 was the best era. Eras for me are a 10 to 15 year period. What's been the best era of the most competitive era of the Champions League in your opinion? The best era of Champions League football. And viewers, I want your thoughts on that as well. I throw a poll on it.
I'd say like 05, 06 to around 2011. That age where all the English teams were expected.
No, I'm just gonna say the noughties in general. I think the quality of teams, the strength of them, like, yeah, I think the noughties, man. I think after Real Madrid did the flipping 4-peat, I think it's just been downhill from there in the Champions League. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It
You're
hasn't
able to
been the
get like
same,
good
man.
individual years from the Champions League now, but to get back to back to back to back good years like you were able to get in the noughties, no, because you know who you're gonna get to win now. Back then, it was a shock because you could sit there
Yeah,
and
you had teams like
predict five or
fam,
six.
you had Bayer Leverkusen in Champions League finals. Like, this is what I mean. Like, I don't know. I think just the people complain about the state of football, as in like, has the quality gone down? Is the teams? I think in Europe, especially, the gaps are a bit closer than we think, and it's not because other teams are doing really well. I genuinely think it's because teams are just not as strong as they used to be. We're looking at this quarterfinal now, and there's no one person you can say, "Yep, they're a standout," because everyone's got really bad flaws. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got massive flaws in their game that can be exploited. So yeah, I think ever since Real Madrid did the 4-peat, it's been peak. It's
I
been
think
very,
it's
very
ruined
peak.
expectations for the Champions League.
I understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But it's like Messi and Ronaldo also broke the barometer for judging a very good player. Players can't go. Like Rashford was getting stick last night because he didn't have a good game, but he scored. It's almost like, but Messi and Ronaldo have had bad games in their career and still gone and scored. People act like they've always every game it was 10 out of 10. Brilliant, but yeah, it's a misconception. But I put a poll up and I've run it from 1976 to 1990, 91 until 2005, and 2006 to 2023. Like some big periods because and I'm asking those questions, and the reason I'm asking them is because yesterday a question came up, and I want to ask Tom this. This Liverpool team that's just maybe coming to an end of its era, maybe not, maybe Klopp as well, but the Liverpool team in itself is coming to the end and it needs big refresh. Is this one of the greatest English sides of all time? Like it was the question that I was posing yesterday on a show, and I want to get your take. Is it the greatest of all time?
In greatest, I think, encapsulates what you win, and the cold hard fact is we haven't won enough. Really, you should be winning multiple of the big trophies. We've gotten close, but we haven't got over the line. I think it's one of the best in terms of just natural God-given ability as a team, you know, the way they play, the teams they can beat and that. But in terms of greatness, I think greatness is encapsulating everything, including what you win. So it's the greatest Liverpool team because it's won and it's been that good. But if I was to compare it against some of the other teams that we've had, even just in this era with City, no.
You can't. It's not even the greatest Liverpool team. I'm sorry, it's not. You had teams that were winning trophies left, right, and center. Like
but
for me,
like in the 70s and the 80s, they were immense. But I
yeah,
think this team
those are your
plays
great. I
so
think
much better.
those are your, in terms of the way that you played. You literally, this is one of the best English sides we've seen. You can say that, like when you tell the story to your grandkids, you'll be like, but that Liverpool team, they were so good. But you then can't. Then if your grandchild says,
I think the draws are being made now. We'll come back to this conversation later. There's a reason I've set it up as a thing. But here we go. The names are coming out the hat here. If you guys are ahead, just let us do the announcements and then we react as opposed to reacting. That's the first name out of the hat, ladies and gentlemen. Today, but welcome by the way, Winter Surfer, is Real Madrid. Real Madrid are the first name out the hat. Yeah, no one wants Real Madrid. Too much heritage.
We're saying, is it you want Bayern Munich?
Here we go.
Want Bayern Munich?
They're untwisting the oh, is that Patrick Kluivert? He's looking all right, you know.
Yeah, man, that Patty.
He's twisting it. It's coming out. The team is zoom in. Chelsea. It's Chelsea. Chelsea, Real Madrid. Wow. Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Chelsea are away for the first leg, home for the second leg. The way round you used to want it because of away goals, I suppose. But Chelsea, Real Madrid. What a tie. What a tie. Okay, the next name coming out the hat now. The next name is on its way. Who is it going to be? They've got to zoom in. It is Inter Milan. That is Inter Milan who are out.
Guaranteed.
Milan derby here. Milan derby is what you want, Patrick Kluivert. Pull out the Milan derby for the heritage buds. For the heritage buds. Let's do it. Oh, Benfica. either one of Inter or one of Benfica will be in the semi-finals of the competition. Benfica will be buzzing with that draw because I think this season they're better. I think
they could
season
win
they're
that.
better. We're still we can still get Man City Bayern, or we can get Man City Napoli. The likelihood of them to that happening is very high.
They're getting Milan.
They're going to get Milan, you think? Right.
They get Milan.
It'll end up being Bayern Napoli.
Next name out the hat here is it is Manchester City out. So City will be home in the first leg. Slight disadvantage. Is it Milan? Is it Napoli? Is it going to be Bayern Munchen? Bayern Munchen. Bayern the Munchen.
What was that? Terry, what are you doing?
What's his name does? Daniel Sturridge, isn't it? He goes Bayern the Munchen. He does that. It is Bayern Munich, Man City. Bayern Munich, Man City. Bayern the Munchen versus Manchester City.
So that means Napoli AC. Napoli AC Milan.
Oi, that is a tie. That is a tie.
Yeah. Where we're going to see Lewandowski versus who's that? So it's going to be Napoli, AC Milan in the next. Oh, wow. Remember, people, stay with us because the semi-final draws are coming up. We're going to find out the semi-finalists as well.
Is Cancelo allowed to play?
Probably not.
It depends. It depends if they agree. Like, I think it's between.
Yeah, that's been an agreement, but but City probably going to say no. Napoli, AC Milan. Napoli should be in these semis, you know. Napoli should be in these semis.
Napoli, AC Milan. Yeah, they are going to beat them.
I think Napoli are just begging for that. Whoever gets the winner out of Benfica.
Inter, yeah.
Imagine, wait. Imagine Inter or Benfica get AC Milan or Napoli. Oi!
But this is it. This is why I think what someone said in the comment. What Daniel Sturridge calls me is Bayern. They're gonna munch ya, Munich. He's hilarious.
He's a Brummy boy as well. I love Daniel Sturridge.
Oh, apparently Cancelo can play because there's no cup tie thing.
Yeah, there's no cup tie in Europe.
So, yeah, he can play, but it's whether City give him permission or not. And I think City will say. Right, semi-final draws coming out now. So the first one is out the hat. So obviously, I think it'll go A, B, C, D along those lines. So it's going to be semi-final 4. So that's going to be Napoli or AC Milan.
We want number 2. Is it number 2? That was
number 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
number 2. We want number 2 for that one to keep that side of the draw clean. And we want Chelsea on the hard side.
Yeah, Chelsea and Man City.
Chelsea and Real Madrid will both want this one. Everyone will want this one, or number 2. It's number 2. So if Chelsea beat Real Madrid, they've got to play Bayern Munich or City.
Oh, wow.
Listen,
wait, Terry.
Napoli should have a final.
Benfica or Napoli could be in the final.
Yeah, Terry.
Crazy.
That guy's prediction
of Napoli winning it.
Yeah, of Napoli winning is literally aligned. The stars are flipping aligning.
Damn.
Yo.
Damn.
Yo.
Damn. My word. My word. My word.
The winner of Real Madrid Chelsea's at home for
huge,
the semi-final.
Huge.
Yo.
But in fairness, like, how are you feeling, Winter Surfer? You've been very quiet since the draw.
You know what? We've won the last 2 times at the Bernabeu. I'm fine. So I don't know. Listen, I don't know. It could be anything really. Real Madrid have got the Real Madrid judge. You know, we are. I don't know what the team's going to be like even after we come back from international break. You know, it's going to be tough. You know,
so
I'm not all.
They're drawing the final here to see which team gets the home and away dressing room, but I don't really think that matters, does it? It's neutral anyway.
I love how they spun it around as well. Just pick one up, man. Like
it says here, Benfica. Sorry, it needs to hear Benfica will be at home versus Inter first due to Milan being home versus Napoli at the same time. So they're going to move that round a bit. But yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of talk from Chelsea fans around maybe we could go on to win this. Do you feel like with the draw having gone this way now? I mean, you've got to get past Real Madrid and then Bayern Munich and or City to get to a final where you're probably going to face Napoli if we look at the quality of teams on the other side. What do you think the chances are of Chelsea winning it now?
Oh, well, they're very slim, but on paper. But you know what? I'm more worried facing Real Madrid than going on to face City or Bayern because of Real Madrid's record in the Champions League. because City are City and everything like that. But I just going. You could be like we were. You could be 3-0 up at the Bernabeu, going through 5 minutes to go, one misplaced pass, and then you're in. You're down. So
Yeah,
that's the thing. We got to really, if we get an advantage. The thing is, we got to make sure we don't crumble like we did in the home leg, to stand a chance really. So anything can happen, right? But we have a tough road ahead to get through to even because face it, you got Real Madrid. Okay, you get past. You got City or Bayern, and then let's face it, you've got Napoli in the final. Do you know what I mean? So if you were to win any on this side to win this draw, to win this competition, you would have truly earned it. Do you know what I mean? You would have gone through the actual fire, to win it.
I do believe the winner of the Champions League is coming from that side of the.
Well, you're gonna know they've won it because they're gonna smell like smoke because they've been through fire basically for the rest of the round.
It's true, but equally, Napoli have got the draw I think they needed. Said it at the start. I think they needed to avoid those big teams over 2 legs, and you get on a one-off game in a neutral space. Napoli can beat anybody. I know they can beat anybody over 2 legs. I'm not saying that's impossible, but to get past it's not just beating City or beating Madrid or beating Munich. It's having to theoretically get through all of them and then to a final and win it. It makes it a lot harder. Now, someone on that side is also going to get through all those games, but I do think Bayern and Real Madrid especially, and City, I do think they're better than Napoli. Napoli are playing amazing football at the moment, but I do think those teams are marginally better. They've got more experience in this competition. The fact now that they've got a great chance on that other side of the draw of getting to a final. And I'm not writing off Benfica either. Benfica have been sensational this season. That side of the draw is so much more open and exciting. It's a different type of exciting. It's more like, one of the teams you probably wouldn't have expected could end up now in a final. Could literally end up in a final, which is crazy.
That's the fun part of today's draw. Like you've now got a side of the tie where it's like any 4 of those teams are in heaven. You know what I mean? All 4 are like looking at that side. I'm like, you know what? We 4 games to the final. We can do this, and we can actually go to the final. Whether they win it or not is a different story. But yeah, man.
This here from Dijk, who says Real Madrid 3 years in a row rigged. City out is what Dijk believes here.
How do you think Sadio Mane needs to turn up?
Yeah, well, how do you think City will get on in that game?
I don't think
they should. I've got to be honest. I don't rate Nagelsmann. They should absolutely snot Bayern.
I think they can do it. Bayern Munich this year have not been the imperious Bayern Munich we've seen in years past, where
they're usually 15 points ahead so far. And they're not. When they can rest and rotate, but they can't.
When they're normally when they go to win the Champions League, they actually just look like the best team in Europe, like hands down. They have not looked like the best team in Europe at all this year. So I think Man City they easily could go through to this round. Like it's not going to be a thing where Man City are out. It's over. It's not like they've got a very good chance of beating Bayern Munich. To be fair,
I just don't rate Nagelsmann. I mean, we played him when he was at Leipzig, and we were crap, and we still put 4 past them without reply. I still just don't see it from him. And when he goes up against the Pep Guardiola, I think he's just going to get found out. I think Manchester City players that can really hate this Bayern team.
But then you got the storyline, the return of Sane. The return of Sane. Will Sane come back and do a madness? I don't know. He's not been the same Sane since he's signed for Bayern Munich. So
I think when your striking hopes rest on Choupo-Moting, you might struggle.
Choupo-Moting is a Champions League winner. He's a Champions League winner, my brother. Like, don't.
That's fine. We got Jose Pasinga as a Champions League winner. It's all the same.
I'll tell you what. The amount of players you could have for storylines against. You could have Cancelo if they let him play.
Yeah.
Sane, Mane. Who else do they have?
We got Kante coming back, so he needs to redeem himself after his performance in the Bernabeu that season.
You've got Rudiger. You've got Rudiger.
Oh yeah, Rudiger.
If you play Rudiger, there's loads of little sub stories like that. I don't know. I think City will beat Bayern Munich. I really do.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not beyond the realms of possibilities that Chelsea beat Real Madrid, and people will laugh at that. But it isn't beyond the realms of possibilities that it gets done, because they smashed 6 goals past Liverpool. There's no doubt, but they still conceded in both games ample openings and opportunities. In the second half at the Bernabeu, Liverpool didn't try to score. Liverpool sat back, and it was like, we're going to avoid losing. As long as you don't get battered in the first leg and you can open up an attack, Real Madrid are brilliant and they're better than Chelsea, but they're gettable. They're not impenetrable. They're not, and that's the one thing about this season in the Champions League. There isn't a team that you can't get at. In years gone by, as you mentioned, Bayern Munich have had teams in this. Madrid have, City have, Liverpool have, where they've been almost impossible to beat. Nobody remaining in this competition is impossible to beat because they've all been beat. They've all been beat regularly, either domestically or in this tournament already, but have remained in it. Including Chelsea. So I wouldn't completely write Chelsea off in terms of getting through this tie, but the side of the draw they're on. I remember how much when you won the Champions League with Tuchel doing this show 2 years ago, the way Chelsea fans celebrated that side of the draw. Then when you won it was actually outside the draw was harder, but you can always tell whether people are happy or sad with their draw by their instant reaction, you know?
I mean, I'm not in for this. I'm not in for this. I want to beat every big club. I don't care. It doesn't say when you put on a trophy. It doesn't say who you beat. It just says you've won it. And also, I'm struggling. If you told me at the start of the season you'd see Graham Potter in the Bernabeu dugout at the start of the season, I don't know what's happening. But I'm not in for this. I need to be. I wanted that side of the draw. I'm sorry. I wanted Inter Benfica. I'm sorry. I don't care who I beat. I just want to win it. It's like I like Man City's draws in all the FA Cups these last few years when they face like first division teams. I want that draw. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't care.
The one thing I will say about Chelsea beating Real Madrid though is Liverpool did have ample opportunities in both legs to score goals, and they obviously didn't take their chances. Chelsea this season have been notorious for not scoring goals. So if they get these chances, Terry, do you trust Chelsea to actually take them against Real Madrid, especially at the Bernabeu if they get them?
No. That's why I say that I would make Real Madrid the favourite, but there is a possibility and a chance that they win. You all know me. I don't do this. There's no chance. I thought Arsenal were going to win last night, and I thought Arsenal would put 2 or 3 goals past them last night, but I didn't think impossible for Sporting to win. And I think that for me is what I would say. If everyone writes Chelsea off, they'll do it because that is how the football gods work. Like the football gods are always telling you, don't do this prerequisite guarantee predictions because we'll throw in a curveball. It's got to be, I think, Real Madrid are favourites, but you've got to watch out for Chelsea because they've still got danger in their team. And if Madrid go into it lackadaisical, if Madrid go into it a little bit kind of, this will be easy for us, they'll lose. Ricky here, Ricky Proctor said City again have the toughest draw. Pep versus Bayern is the pick of the games. Terry, European heritage matters in knockouts. Bayern and Real Madrid are different in the Champions League, whatever form they're in domestically. How do you feel about that, Patrick? Welcome to the show, my friend. You got Bayern Munich, and if you get through that, you got Real Madrid or Chelsea. Talk to me, Patty.
Do you know what? I'm happy. I'm excited. And you know, the team that I wanted was Napoli. Why do I want Napoli? Because it looks like it's destiny for Napoli. I want you to look at how they've played. They haven't played teams that are very complicated. They've just played teams that back in the days would say this team has a chance against Napoli, like it's a 50-50. So I wanted Napoli to come this side. We should have exchanged one of the teams and brought Napoli this side to draw in with us. Maybe Chelsea should have gone the other side.
I would love
but
to
you know what?
You're going to do that? Fine.
Nah. Let's not look. I yesterday something just switched in me. I think eventually you're going to meet somebody. So even if you play them now, you're going to meet them one day, either in the final, semi-final. So Bayern, bring it. To be honest with you, bring Bayern. And I'm happy that City are going through these difficult runs in the UCL because I noticed that every time we play a team that we expect to beat, that's when we had these surprises and shocks. But every time we play PSG, we seem to turn up. Yes, Madrid caught us with our pants down, obviously, in the second leg. But sorry, I don't know where they come from.
No,
but anyway,
but
anyway, Terry, I'm not scared. This is the best thing. I always want to challenge these players. These City players, I challenge them in mentality. So I want them to go against difficult teams. I was even looking for Madrid. When they picked Madrid first, I was like, please pick City. Please pick City. Then we didn't get picked. Then I was like, please pick us with somebody who's complicated. And it's good we're this side. Trust me, it's good we're this side. Because if we make it through this pain, there's no Atletico Madrid. That's the only team I wouldn't have loved. But if we make it through this pain, we're going to the final. At least I'll be confident. But if we play Inter and end up beating Inter maybe 5-0 or AC Milan, then we get to the final, you have to be careful because you'd be like, oh, we look good, but you find another big team will beat you. It's good to play big teams.
Which games the Pep Guardiola change coming in?
I'm about to say, will he galaxy brain it? Will he just be a light bulb and shine for no damn reason? You know what I mean?
When's KDB a DM or
you know what? I don't know if Nagelsmann is the guy who but personally myself is a manager who I say will change stuff because he never changes. But for Pep, it's up to him. I think we play the same team. We just play any team. I think we go toe to toe with them. I just want to go toe to toe. And for Bayern fans who are saying, "Oh, we don't have so and so," please make sure money is there. Make sure everybody is there. Please, I want this to be difficult. Terry, I am tired of playing Leon and Leon embarrassing us. I'd rather be embarrassed by Bayern. I'd rather be embarrassed by Madrid. We're done.
Yeah,
not Spurs anymore.
You know what I would say as well? The 2 times Man United have won this in my lifetime, we had mad hard runs to get there. So I've always had this feeling of I like when we get the harder teams because typically that's when we've gone on to do bits. We go back to the years under Fergie where we got to finals and lost. You look at some of our semi-final opponents and stuff like that. Like when we're Shakhtar in a semi-final. Like I'm not saying it 100% plays a part, but just through the traditions of my club winning it, the harder runs have always seen us do better in that way. This here says Milan derby. The last at the San Siro would be class. Is what's been said there. They're
moving out the San Siro, aren't they?
Yeah, they can get that in the semi-final. I mean that would be one of those games I'd love to just go to because that would be raucous. Definitely. Chelsea Blue here says Vinny going back in Reece James's pocket. Well, at least that's one right back from England that can stop him. Never doubt the Champions League Chelsea. Upper Meccano pockets Haaland.
Can I say something though? Can I say something? Have you noticed that every time, like even Leipzig did it, and obviously, no offense, Man United fans also did it. Oh, Martinez pocketed the Ajax. Every time someone speaks on this, says somebody pocketed somebody, Haaland just gets crazy and then dunks on you. That's what has been happening recently.
I think the last time they played each other in a cup final, Haaland literally went through him like he wasn't there.
Oh yeah, he dropped him, isn't it? He dropped him with the shoulder check.
Upper Meccano is very talented, but
he's talented.
He has those moments where someone would have burnt, like Rashford in the Champions League 2 years ago, destroyed him.
I think him and De Ligt aren't. They're just too young. Do you know what I mean? Like as a partnership, they're just
bozos. They've got
they've both got the bozo gene, and they play a high line. And I'm sorry, like Tom said, I don't. To
the guy in the comment, I doubt if Cancelo is going. Isn't he on loan? I don't think he's going to play against his own.
The thing is,
we
say this, but
he can.
It's happened too many times for me to think that teams.
Yeah, Thibaut Courtois played against us when he was at Atletico Madrid in the semi-final.
That was a semi-final as well. I don't think Chelsea would give them permission to play their fair choice.
You know what? I think I think it might be the agreement in when they initially signed the loan deal. In the January, because normally it's a January signing that normally does this.
Yeah, it's a January one.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe teams just don't expect it to happen. You know what I mean? Like the chances of it happening is very slim. So
if he scores and starts running, he's not returning to the Etihad. He's not. If he doesn't continue did to Barcelona now.
He says here, Dyke says you're laughing, but yet he pocketed Mbappe in 2 legs. In fairness, though, Mbappe, when he came on in the first leg, was so unlucky not to score. He was ripping that Bayern team apart. Lengen Sweet here says, I'm worried about the second leg. I think we beat them 3-1 at the Etihad, is what he says there. Yeah, second legs away are I always like the second leg at home. Just I know away goals don't count anymore, but I always personally prefer that. Steve here says, first Champions League and European Cup finals for Benfica, possibly since 1990 versus AC Milan. Vamos Eagles is what Steve
how long they got left to run on that case that fella put on years ago, saying they'll never win a European Cup?
Don't know.
And by the way, Steve, we'll send out the link. We're going to do it after the United draw, just so we can keep
how long's the Yaya Toure curse?
Yeah, we'll send it out.
Yeah, that's been going on for like 10 years.
He forgave us. He said that I want City to win it. He says
but he isn't the witch doctor. He isn't the guy that controls it.
Yeah, you know what, Terry?
You've all seen You've all seen the Disney films where the disgruntled kid sees a witch in the woods and then they cast a spell and then they go, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I don't want to take it back." And the witch is like, "No, you've got to go through all these hoops."
You know what, Terry? I'm going to call my granny. I'll call my granny. Yeah.
What, to do some anti-judge?
I said, Granny, do you know anyone?
TBG here says City will split Bayern Munich apart. Nagelsmann is a very attacking manager. I think this is Pep's year. The others don't have the tactical capability to compete, is what he believes. That is an interesting one. It certainly is. I mean, who do you guys make as the favourites from this point, KJ?
I actually think Man City. I was thinking when I saw the 7-0, I don't know why, I just got this feeling where I was just like, they actually might do it, you know? Like, looking at the teams around them, looking at the performances that they've had in the Champions League so far, I'm like, yo, Man City are coming into some decent kind of form, and they might carry it all the way. Like, at some point, surely, this team will win the Champions League. And I don't know, I just got a feeling Man City would do. I don't like it. I would rather it be Napoli. I would love it to be Napoli or anyone else on that side of the draw. But yeah, I think Man City got this in the bag. And then I think the second favorites are Napoli as well, especially because of that random guy's prediction. Or anyhow that comes true, I'm waiting for United's Champions League in 2025.
Wait. It's Napoli, Arsenal, then United. Oh my God, if that happens, we're done. I think City fans, if that happens, we should just hide. Because basically, United haven't won it for a long time, and Arsenal have never won. And then they wait all these years, and they still win it when they come back, and we still haven't won it. I'm done. After that, I'm done.
Napoli win it, I'm waiting for my Champions League in 2025. That's all I'm saying.
I can't. You can't look past Real Madrid. I'm sorry, you can't. European heritage is the key factor in these tournaments. It always is. In these tight games, that's what carries teams through. And Real Madrid, this team have the experience of winning one already. I just think you can never look past them. I think they'll get past Chelsea all right, because I still don't get why you didn't register Badiashile. So it's Karim Benzema against Kalidou Calamity at the back. He's gonna have a field day. You know, I just think you can never look past Real Madrid. On the other side, it's obviously Napoli. I think Benfica might do something, but really, it's Napoli.
Tom,
it's
the
just
question
Real
is,
Madrid
Tom, do you think this Real Madrid this year in the Champions League can beat Bayern Munich and or City? Sorry.
Yeah. Real Madrid can beat anyone in the Champions League. A crap Real Madrid team could beat an immense City team because it's heritage. It's the being there, done it. The thing is with this Real Madrid core, this isn't been there, done it, got a medal. It's been there, done it, got 4 or 5 of these Champions League medals. So they know what it takes to win.
And they're passing on to the new players as well, as you say, Tom.
Yes.
It's not just been there. Yeah, I've just a few people asked about these predictions. This is the tweet, as you can see from this account from 2014. Astronomical.
We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. Terry,
Oh
this is
my
bad.
Lord,
Terry, this
no,
is bad
look at the
for
run.
this is bad for us. Look at that. So Arsenal will come back and win it, and then United, they haven't been good for a while. Come back and win it. I'm sorry. I'll be done. If this happens, I'm done.
I don't know how.
I'm done.
Wait. Have we verified that this is real? As in not
Well,
Photoshop?
the thing with it is that you go for a situation where it's the guys. I searched the guy's account and I can't find it anymore. But people delete shit. People write. Yeah. This is what he probably did. He probably wrote it and then like deleted it because he was being laughed at. But then someone screenshot it because people, if you notice a new thing that they've added now to Twitter, how many people bookmark your tweets?
Yeah,
people are coming for me. I'm averaging about 60 bookmarks per tweet when I predict things. It's crazy.
I don't know how Man United can win it in 2025 because if Arsenal win the European Cup, isn't that the first sign of the apocalypse? So you win it.
Look, but the thing is, even if somebody's faked it, they faked it this year. Imagine if it actually happens. Okay,
yeah, that's true as well.
Even if it's fake, they've still put Napoli in there. And I think at the beginning of the season, if you'd have said Napoli, you'd have been laughed at. You'd have been laughed at.
I think he's
So
put a bet on it.
yeah, I hope so.
So, you know,
Even if it's fake, it isn't fake anymore because someone's actually wrote that. Imagine if it happens. But the reason everyone thinks it could is because everyone can see the rise of Arsenal and United right now, and you think, "Oh my God!" That's why it's got a feeling. When this was put out, no one expected it. If it happens, listen. I'm going to put I'm going to go to a bookies and see what they would give me odds wise on that coming true.
I've just seen a horrible stat. If we'd have scored one more goal against Napoli this season, we would have had Napoli side of the draw. Because we literally were only behind them on 1 goal difference.
Oh, what a 1 goal difference!
So in that 2-0 game at Anfield,
that means you actually would have to get through the round of 16 against the team that Napoli beat. Is there a guarantee that you even do that?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt would have gave it to him, wouldn't it? Gave him the nice sausage.
I mean, Frankfurt would have wrecked at Anfield like they just did. You know what I mean?
This here says there was another super random guy who did this for the last Super Bowls and guessed wrong on Eagles winning it this year. Probably fake, but I almost fell for it. Yeah, I look at it this way. It doesn't matter if it's fake or not. I'm now intrigued by this information. Would this happen? I'm intrigued by it. It's a bit like, they would do that thing at the World Cup where like an octopus predicts who's going to win, or it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's fake. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's now, it's out there now. It's fake, maybe a tweet, but it's real now. It's a real thing someone's made. And can you listen? I would take Arsenal winning it next year for us to win it in 2025 because I just want to win one. I really, really do. And it would be amazing if all but City, out of the top 5 teams in England, have a Champions League and not them.
that you know what? Because I always hold on to the fact that every time Arsenal fans are speaking, I'm like, man, we're on the same table. Shush. We're on the same. Yeah. But now, if they win it, we're done. What are we?
You move up to the Tottenham table. You move up to the Tottenham table of all tables.
And they've been out of it for 7 years as well.
Can you imagine? Imagine. Obviously, people, we're going to stay live until the Europa League draw comes through. So you'll see the titles and thumbnails change on the shows momentarily as well. Do you know what really made me laugh? I don't know if you guys have seen the thumbnail of for the Europa League draw the BT Sport have put out. Normally, it has all the different like Premier League teams on it. It's just a little one of Ten Hag in the middle by himself.
He's even pointing. It's just Ten Hag by himself. I feel like, it's so lonely out there.
I was watching your show, Terry, yesterday, and it entertained me. I saw the pain in the Arsenal fans. I sat there. I was like, "Oh my God, this is so much pain." Because I saw when Gal starts speaking fast and doesn't let anyone speak, you can tell he's in pain, and I loved that pain.
I don't understand any Arsenal fan who can call any European trophy a Mickey Mouse trophy when they haven't won in Europe. That's all. Who said that? Is it Dowd? He said it. He said call it a Mickey Mouse trophy.
But this is what happens. You see, when everyone's entitled to their own football opinions, everybody's entitled to think what they want to think. Everyone's entitled to that. No issues with it at all. However, there is an element of I've been saying it for years now. People slag off competitions ahead of time as a precursor to being able to say, I'm not bothered about being knocked out when they go out. It's why people play down. And they do it to 3 tournaments now, the Europa League, League Cup, FA Cup. You can't get away with it with the Premier League and the Champions League. But even if teams do this when they go at the like if Arsenal were competing for the Champions League this year, there are a percentage of gooners, if they went out, would say, yeah, but we can focus on the Premier League now. So it's okay. I understand looking for the silver linings, but when it comes to being knocked out of competitions by a smaller club than you, no one believes you. Like the way Jess handled it, I think is right. I'm annoyed to go out. It's not the end of the world, but I'm annoyed to go out. That's fair. But this whole notion of like, I don't care because we're in the Champions League next year. I don't care because it's a Mickey Mouse trophy. We all know people are lying when they say that.
But they don't have it. Both Arsenal and us will take it. We'll take that Europa.
Because Dord is coming. Dord is coming, by the way. So we can grill him on that in a sec. My main thing.
I'm eating good after yesterday's game. Ruben, absolute star.
All right. One of my things that I didn't get though was the whole squad depth thing. In terms of all year, we've been hearing how Arsenal have got the squad. We've got the squad now. And Nketiah's coming and filled in. We look at Reece Nelson when he plays. Tomiyasu, ESR's coming back. It's gonna be a boost. But then then as soon as they go out of a second competition, we don't have the squad. We don't have the squad for it. So which one is it? I'm just a bit confused.
I just think it was on.
I'm just a bit
I think
confused.
I think Arteta. I think the players didn't perform. I think the players thought it was just almost a guarantee. But I think Arteta got a couple of selections wrong. I don't think Zinchenko and Jorginho work together. I think you'd end up with two people playing in the same spot, and then the left back, because he moves into the middle, leaves space open.
Yeah.
Jorginho can't cover ground as well. That's why Marcus Edwards looked like a whale beater, despite the fact he couldn't hit a barn door.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. It's just like, I'm okay with Arsenal fans saying they don't have the squad to compete on multiple fronts, but then don't gas up the squad players if they do something all right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, look, I look at it this way. I understand why he rotated his team. I understand. I understand what he did, and he made a decision. But the decision, and this is the thing with football, reviewing football is quite literally it's done with hindsight. That's what a review is. You review previous decisions that were made, and you judge it based on hindsight. Now, you do that in every walk of life. Every walk of life. You know, how many? I don't know if any of your parents, you get a school report. Oh, we should have done this, should have done that, should have done something different. And that isn't people. It's hindsight, though. You can't do anything about it. Well, you can, because you can make sure that moving forward, you don't make those same mistakes again. And I also understand Arsenal are going to protect their fans are going to protect their club. They're going to fight for their manager. They're going to push back on all these kind of elements. But I look at all football clubs through my lens, and my lens is this: you should be striving to win every competition that you play in, irrespective of what is going on, because that is how greatness is forged. That is how you become a juggernaut. And I look at Man United's last great team that won the Premier League and Champions League double. That team started off its winning run by winning a Carabao Cup, or I don't even know what it was sponsored. It might have even been the Worthington Cup back then, but the League Cup. We won the League Cup in 2006. We then won the Premier League the following year. We then won the double. The following year, we won another double by winning the league and the League Cup. But yeah, it's one.
That's what Mourinho. If you remember, Terry, Mourinho credited for both stints at Chelsea the League Cup victory first, because it builds a winning mentality. That's why it's like so important that Man United won it, because it builds a winning mentality.
Look at City recently as well. They were
exactly City dominated it,
every
right?
chance they got. I mean, that tweet then it says Cancelo can play against City, so he's got.
Cancelo's playing against City.
He can play, yeah.
Okay. Bring him. We're gonna expose him.
Cancelo, Leroy Sané on the same side.
I repeat, if he scores or they score and he starts running, I don't want to see
slide
him.
in front of Pep.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I say out of respect for his club that he's playing for, he should knee slide in front of Pep.
Yeah, I think he's a Bayern player. He's a Bayern player at the minute.
We're still paying his money. We're still paying his wages, so we're still paying his.
Don't let that get in the way of anything, man.
No, you're wearing a Bayern shares.
We want to have some fun here. Yeah, please do it, Cancelo.
Yeah, yo, D, are we still watching the draw for Mickey Mouse Cup? Or have you reflected on your sins? And
bro, I'm more excited now than I was before. Now.
Oh, sorry, wrong D. Sorry, not DZ. Dawds, bruv. Sorry. Oh, you muted, bro.
That's the best thing for him.
He's muted.
Let me unmute myself. Yeah. I was just looking at the main draw, the Champions League draw. So we're going to be in that next year. Just looking at the teams, the Champions League teams, and we'll probably be able to beat 90% of them next season. So that's pretty decent. And then the Europa League draw, the Mickey Mouse, like Juventus.
The one Juventus you get are knocked out of. Yep.
Yeah, they're washed now. Roma with Jose Mourinho just lost in the weekend.
But went through.
And then you got Sporting.
I beat you.
Man United. I'd be embarrassed to be in that draw right now because you know what's that team? USG. Is that real? What team is that?
Belgian.
The Belgian team. Yeah.
It's a Belgian team, bro.
No one knows these teams, man. Who's gonna watch it Thursday night?
I just told you it's a Belgian team.
Hang on a minute.
However many years.
You said who knows these teams? You said no one knows these teams. You just like listed off teams' recent fixtures, so you must know who they are. You know who their
Yeah.
managers are, what games they've played recently. So you'd be more embarrassed to be in the draw than being knocked out last night.
She's got a
Definitely
better
not.
record in Europe than you this season, so it's all good. Move on.
Definitely not. But yeah, just going back to the draw, I'm kind of happy that we're out now, so I can just now relax and more games for you guys in the FA Cup, in the Europa League, in the Premier League. So yeah, I'm happy
but
now.
you-
for
you're
Imagine
done
Tuesday.
for
that.
anyway.
More
You're
games
done
for you
for
guys
this
to chance
weekend
to win a
anyway.
trophy.
No,
Imagine
KJ did
that.
massive.
And,
They're done for this
yeah.
weekend.
Haha,
New manager
you've
bounce.
got a chance to win 2 more trophies.
Crystal
Haha.
Palace new manager bounce at the weekend.
Wait,
Yeah,
can I ask the Arsenal fans? Can I ask the Arsenal fans something? The Arsenal
One
fans.
sec, Patty, one sec. Like what? Because what Winter Surfer just said there went very, very unnoticed and needs to be
No, I
focused
heard
on.
it.
That is where this is why I keep saying that the football banter era needs to stop, because Man United are now being laughed at because we've got the opportunity to win trophies. That's a scary thought if the banter era continues to go. Imagine we get to a point in 10 years' time where winning the Premier League is looked at as embarrassing. Like, how far are we going to take this notion that winning is embarrassing? Come on now.
I'll be worried if you be challenging for the Premier League, Champions League, the big trophies.
Well, like the
Jeez.
FA Cup,
Wow,
the FA
one
Cup,
season.
the FA
One
Cup.
season.
You guys were laughing at us for years for winning the FA Cup. You guys are calling the FA Cup merchants.
Guys, so let me respond. I wasn't. The Terrace wasn't. We respect that trophy. It's massive. So no one. Only. Do you know what's mad? You don't. Can I ask you a question, Dodds?
Yep.
If a bunch of Man United fans and City fans jumped off a cliff, would you do the same?
No, I just laugh.
Then why, when people do stupid shit banter, do you repeat it back to them?
No, because it wasn't just a minority. It was every single fan base.
That isn't the question. Why, when people listen to what I'm saying, why, when people have shit banter, do you respond by doing the same shit banter back?
No, because FA Cup now is seen, especially by a majority of people, as not a major
okay, but you see it as a major trophy. So let me ask you the question again. When people do shit banter, why do you respond by doing the same shit banter back?
I have to respond back to them.
Why? Yeah, but why isn't your response better like what Winter Surfer just did? Because that's one of the that will go unnoticed on social media. Ha ha. You've got the possibility of winning 2 more trophies. That is the best bit. That is the best comeback. Not, oh, you're winning them a shit trophy as well now. That's literally like my dad's bigger than your dad's shit. Come on, be better, bro. Be better.
But they don't have it. Can I ask a question for the Arsenal fans? Just a question I want to ask. Arsenal fans, and I'm just saying this, and I'm not being salty about this. Do you know that there's a big possibility? I'm just telling you this, and ask Liverpool fans, and ask fans from other leagues, and back in the days from the Prem. We know there's a possibility. Something can happen where you can lose the Prem and have nothing. And when that happens, all this chest you guys are having, trust me, some of you guys will not show your faces, because if you don't win it, I even told a guy at work, I was like, my friend David, yeah, my friend, you deserve it if you win this season, but if you bottle this and at the end of the season you don't win it, I will make sure I put you on shift with me and you will suffer.
I was around 80% chance to win the league now. I mean, before, sorry. Now it's up to 90% because I was worried about playing Thursday, Sunday. Now that we've got a whole week to prepare for the Premier League, I'm more confident I'll win the league now.
Well, why did Thursday?
Wait there. Hold on. So you now agree that Wednesday, Saturday has just as big an impact as Thursday, Sunday for Manchester City?
No, because they're facing Bayern Munich. It's different now. Because Bayern Munich they're concentrating on the Champions League, which is completely different. Because their main objective is to win the Champions League.
Wait, does Arsenal just have fans well like this? It's just Arsenal.
Can I ask, how come Thursday, Sunday football didn't affect you for the entire season up until now?
But if you look at it, every single season we've been in the Europa League, we've struggled in the league.
As soon as you've been crap in the league.
You've always struggled in the league regardless.
Guys, one at a time.
You've had a crap team. That's why you've been crap in the league. Nothing to do with the Europa League. You've been crap until this season.
No, because I remember Unai Emery days. I remember when he finished 5th that season and lost in the final of the Europa League, he sacrificed the Premier League to win the Europa League. And I remember, and then we lost against Crystal Palace a few years ago, that crucial game where if we had beaten Crystal Palace, we would have won. We would have actually been in the top 4.
Because your fans sat there and said Unai Emery is a European. He's the European Europa League master, whatever. You know, we should win the Europa League. Yeah. I don't care for the league. Just win the Europa League. I want a European trophy. Now with hindsight, you go, no, I didn't want that European trophy anyway.
This man is getting exposed.
There's a comment here from Man Like Lee Gunner that says, "Don't worry, fella. They'll all say top 4 was the aim if they don't win the league. Absolute losers, a lot of them. They've infested this club beyond repair. Real Madrid don't have these Muppets infesting their club.
That's facts.
They want Carlo
No
out.
chance.
There's fans at Real Madrid that want Carlo Ancelotti out this season because they've been performing bad in the league. They want him out.
All
mad.
the coverage is loading slowly.
Yes.
DZ,
Yo.
do we have to win the Europa League now that Arsenal gone?
I think, yes, with the caveat of we have to put respect on Juve's name. Juventus is still a European giant, so we could quite easily lose to those. I mean, it has to be an understandable thing. But other than that, I want to win it. I think the final is a must, though. The final is an absolute must now. But yeah, I want to win it. But I think put some respect on Juve's name. Sporting, they're a really good team. I think they deserve more credit than Arsenal fans are willing to give them. But that's fine.
Are we
And also-
forgetting
Top manager.
Roma?
I will not stop
We
until
forgetting
Ruben
Roma?
Amorim gets the credit he deserves. Top manager.
Calm down.
There's two other teams as well. You've got Roma,
Roma.
obviously, with Jose, who obviously you know what Jose is like in these competitions, and then also Sevilla are literally like the kings of
They're
the
the Europa
Europa
kings.
League. But even with all those teams still in there, I still believe that we should be winning the Europa League with the caliber of player that we have, with the manager that we've got.
Yep.
We should be winning. Like before, it was we should get to the final. Arsenal are the favourites. You've got all the now that everything's unfolding, and the season that we're having as well. We're having a better season than anyone could have thought of. We have to go win. We have to go win this Europa League, in my opinion.
Are
And
you worried though, KJ?
I will be upset that we don't win a European trophy. It ain't a Mickey Mouse Cup.
Yeah,
It is
and two things can be right at the same time. It would be, for me, I'd feel disappointed, and because we've failed to have won it. It'd be a failure not to win it. That doesn't mean I'm not happy with the progression of my club this season and the direction that we're going in. Because again, I'm not having a go at you, Dawes. I know you're having a little bit of fun with this, but that's how like a human brain can work. I can be happy with something overall and disappointed with elements. That's literally how grown-ups think, you know? It's literally how grown-ups think. And as a parent, Daps will get this. He's a parent. I love and I'm proud of my kids, but I can be disappointed in individual things they do wrong. That disappointed me. It doesn't mean suddenly I'm going to adopt you just because you made a mistake or you didn't achieve something that you should have done. That's how we should look at our football teams. I'll be disappointed if we don't go on to win this. I'll be annoyed at failing to win it. But it doesn't mean that's it. Arteta's got Ten Hag's got to go. And I think that's the thing with football fans now. They want to always try and play it down like it's a minor, like it means nothing, like it's not important. Then, like, how far do you take this? Because if you keep letting every year another competition is eroded into insignificance, what's going to a league? Is that going to happen to league titles soon? Is that going to happen to when's the cutoff point? When's the cutoff point? Is it going to go?
Let me tell you, I know
there are some fan bases that now just put stats and goals and quality of football above everything else. We've got to stop. We've got to stop this because it's not what football's about. It's disgraceful.
It's the Spurs disease.
Here's where you go with that conversation. You end up at a point where winning a singular game means more than trophies.
Yes.
That's
Tottenham.
Tottenham. It's the Spurs disease.
No, not just
Tottenham.
no,
The
not
Spurs
just
and
Tottenham
Arsenal
fans.
disease.
Not just
Bro,
Tottenham,
I was
but
having-
Tottenham define it. Tottenham do define that rule.
Absolutely.
As a
It's
City
it's
fan,
I
trust
was
me, they do.
Bro, I was having arguments with some of my friends that are Liverpool fans. They were saying, "Oh, now that 7-0 means more than any of the trophies that you could win this season." I'm like, and that's where this conversation goes, where you start saying, "Well, you know, trophies don't really matter. This is a Mickey Mouse. This is a Mickey Mouse. This one don't count." That's exactly where you go.
Well, listen,
7-0 was good, though. I
if
enjoyed
Liverpool, but Tom, it was good. But if you deep it,
No,
Tom,
I agree. Trophies
at
are
the
more,
end of the
I would
season-
sacrifice the 7-0 to win a trophy this year.
well, forget
100%.
trophies, Tom. Forget trophies. If at the end of the season you lot don't get top 4 football, then your result at the weekend against Bournemouth, is actually a worse result than you beating Man United 7-0.
Yeah, that's speak on it.
Great
You haven't
facts
at the
right
script.
there.
You haven't at the script. We're not getting top 4 this year. We're finishing 8th. We'll go into the Conference League. We're winning Conference League. First club in European history.
I mean, I would act like I'm upset, but I love to see it, bro. I absolutely love to see it.
110%. Just some
NS Miura won't know what's hit them when Mo Salah has to go to their
Just-
ground.
Just some super chats I want to go through here. The first one says Real Madrid Heritage wins them the Champions League, or Napoli or Benfica is what Dyke thinks is going to win it. Lee Gunner back again says if Arsenal finish second and Spurs third or fourth, what's the difference? Wake
Nothing.
up instead of chatting smack online for clout is what
Yep.
Lee has got to say here. Eric Laguna says, as an Arsenal fan, I am livid that we are out of the UEFA Europa League. Winning a double, especially European and domestic, changes the mindset of the club drastically. PS Dord's is a dud. Dord's, listen, I'm gonna Dord's is just defending Arsenal, but I don't think this is the right way of protecting your club. I believe in tough love. I believe in tough love rather than if you I'm gonna bring it back to children.
But not adoption, Terry.
No, worse than adoption. If you treat your children how some football fans treat their clubs when they fail by wrapping them in cotton wool, you will create man babies. You will create very weak, unsuccessful people. The same works with your club. I don't agree with abusing Arteta for going out last night. I don't believe that Arsenal fans should be castrating their players, smashing their cars up, booing them when they walk out of the Emirates next. That is dumb. But what they should be saying is I'm livid we went out. I'm angry they didn't perform last night. I believe, and you should be angry because you believe in them. If you don't believe in your team, then fair enough. If you believe you're one of the best teams in the world, not beating Sporting Lisbon should frustrate you. If it doesn't, you're lying, or you don't rate your team as highly as you say you do.
Terry, do you know what? I've got the perfect example of that. Right. So remember the Tottenham game, City-Tottenham game at the Etihad, where at half-time, everyone said City are so... the fact that the fans were booing the City players, at half-time when we were 2-0 down against Tottenham, right? Now, the reason we did that is because this is a Manchester City team and a Manchester City squad that we have seen season in, season out perform to a certain level, chase every single ball, press from the front, and win games and win leagues and win trophies like it. Now, the end of the first half against Tottenham scored 2 goals in the space of 3-4 minutes. Every player's head went down, including the captain Gundogan's, right? And ultimately, it was because we were not chasing, we were not pressing, we were not winning every ball. And so, some people said the booing was of the referee. For me, in the ground, it wasn't. It was frustration because we expect better from this group of players. And in that first half, we didn't see it. And you're spot on. You have to address that. You have to address it. Otherwise, you end up like Tottenham.
Did you see that man on the super chat? Man said double, He says the double is guaranteed. I'm telling you, Arsenal fans, one more time. If you don't win the Premier League, I'm coming for every single one of you. Please clip this. Says double.
But this is a thing when you look at it right now. I'm sat here, I'm thinking, right, I'm going to an FA Cup quarter final tomorrow, I believe. Is it the quarters? It is, isn't it?
Yes,
quarters. Quarters. Yeah. I've just sat there and I'm mapping out that we've got Bayern, and then when we beat Bayern, we've got Real Madrid at the Etihad, second leg, and then potentially we've got Napoli in a final, and we've still got the Premier League going on. And I'm sat there thinking, Arsenal, all of your faith is now in one competition. If you do not achieve in that one competition this whole amazing season of yours.
Oh my goodness. Now that's very, very harsh, because you guys are 7 years into your project, where it's like your bench is probably worth more than our first team.
Here we go. Respectfully, it's not harsh. Do you know why it's not harsh? Because trust me, every single bit of crap we have to put up from your fan base, that I will speak on it, because you can talk about the money, but let's not act like you've not spent money, because you're not Leicester.
No, I know, but we've left a bit where like we've signed ready-made players. We're going for youth. We're going for a long-term project. These players, they're definitely going to be hurt from losing it yesterday.
Jorginho and Trossard in January.
I know, but that's not like they're not world-class players.
Jesus and Zinchenko in the summer. Don't talk about all.
When we signed Jesus and Zinchenko, and no one was saying the world class.
Yes, I was.
Rival fans were saying that they were like
world class. But you said ready-made. You said
that's still not world class. That's still not world class.
One at a time, guys. One at a time. Doors, but you said rivals said this again. Why are you listening to idiots What did you and your fans say?
Yeah.
I'm judging you based on what people like yourself have said. Brilliant players, best team here, best team there. If you're the best team and you fail to win anything, that's failure, my friend. So forget what rivals said, because again, why are you reacting to numbskulls? Stop listening to dumb people, bro.
Okay.
When you do that, it lowers your IQ. And you're a smart kid. You are a smart guy. Stop. You know, it's mad, right? I've got friends of mine I grew up with. I don't chill with anymore because they're in their 40s and they're acting like they're 20 years old, and it's dumb, right? So I move myself away from them, because be better than that. What do you think about your team? You can't be the best team in England and then not win anything and it be called success. It's impossible.
But Terry, also, when you say about rivals, if I'm just going to speak on behalf of Manchester City right now, because that is the club that I represent, right? And I can tell you now, yeah, that as a Manchester City fan base, firstly, we believed in Arteta before your fan base did, yeah. Secondly, we believed in Zinchenko before your fan base did, and thirdly, we believed in Jesus before your fan base did. So, being real, you're not talking about rivals. You're talking about your fan base.
No.
I'm Spurs fans.
No, because beginning of the season, because you guys are saying that is a failure. You're talking about now. If you said we're playing above where we're supposed to, we are first. If you said to Arsenal fans that you're going to be first in March, everyone would have took it. You said if you said to every single fan base, you'll be out the FA Cup, you'll be out the Europa League, you'll be out the Carabao Cup, but you'll be first in the league. We would have took that any day of the week. So even if we don't win the league, that's not a failure, because we haven't been in the Champions League for 7 years. It's not like Man United or Man City or Liverpool or Tottenham where they're 1 year in, 1 year out of the Champions League. I'm taking the Champions League over any trophy right now, because Champions League football.
So you want top four?
We haven't had top four for 7 years.
Okay, so you want top four. That's what you want this season. You want top four.
Champions League football attracts world-class players.
Guys, because the draw is just about to start, so we'll come back to this in a bit. All I'm going to say on it is this before we start the draw. You can make the Champions League and be happy with that, but still be disappointed you didn't win the league. Those two things can coexist in your brain at exactly the same time. They can be... They can. I don't understand why this is like.
No, but I'm being realistic.
No, it's not about being realistic. It's what you're frustrated with is when you're. Like, if you don't win it, I'm not going to be disappointed or annoyed or anything. That's a lie. No way you're not going to be. We're going to come back to this conversation a bit later on. Remember, people, at 6 p.m. today, the Top 6 show is on. The link's already available, so go and bookmark it and be ready at 6 p.m. for a big preview of what's coming up. Is that Sultan Gira?
Yeah.
It is, you know.
Zoltan Gira of West
Look at that knowledge. Look at that knowledge. I didn't even see his name either. I promise you. I swear it's it. I knew it.
Sorry, Terry. I'm going to drop off. I've got a flight to book.
All right, bro.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
I like that.
Istanbul.
Chat soon.
See you later, mate. See you later. I like that. We have another super chat that's come in here that says, where is it? It's gone. Have you? Oh, it started. Hang on. Here we go. I wasn't saying it was a guarantee, but this was So Patrick, I do think you misread his super chat. He was basically saying he wanted to win the double, as opposed to it was like a guarantee we were going to win it. This was an aspiration. Hang on. This was aspiration as a fan before 10 p.m. last night. We all know that the double statement, the double is a statement. So what he's saying is right. He wanted Arsenal to go and win a European and Premier League double. That's exactly what he should be wanting, right?
Yeah.
Eric, agendas must agenda. I will just look at things I want to get my agenda on. You guys right now, let me be honest with you. No, let me speak the truth as a City fan. If you guys manage to win this league, I don't have to show my face because I never believed in you. I'm serious, because trust me, we called Arteta conboy, that he's picking cons and giving towers to Pep, and now he would do this.
If he beats you to a league, on the flip side of attacking Arsenal, because that's not what this is. We're actually going at Arsenal fans' opinions more than anything else. Patrick, if you lose to the guy that you call again, and I'm going to use you as a good example because you do have a brain. You're not out here saying stupid for clicks. You genuinely didn't rate Arteta. If he beats you to a league title and stops you doing a three-peat, how embarrassing is that going to be?
It is, and a lot of people are not going to admit it. It's just that I rated him when Pep said, "Oh, okay, this guy can be a baller," but I didn't think it's this fast, and I didn't think he could slap us like how it's going. This looks too easy for him. So if it happens, look, we'll sit down and say we hold that. So anyway,
Wait, no,
that's
it-
but I
It's not
agendas must adjust.
Arteta, it's Jesus and Zinchenko as well.
Nah, but you know what? That's the funny thing is Jesus and Zinchenko were loved at City, and a lot of people cried when they left. So at least they loved.
That's fine. I can hold it on Pep's head. The fact that he thought he could do without Jesus and Zinchenko. He sells them off to Arsenal.
We shouldn't have. You know what? We shouldn't have. I
I
think we shouldn't have. Going forward, we shouldn't do that again. We shouldn't have.
But
Right,
but
here we go.
you can't.
Guys, the draw's starting now. First name's on its way out. We'll come back and have a little chitty chatty later. The first name is on its way out here. Remember, let us read it out before we react, please, people, just for continuity of the show. So the first name out is, I can't read it, it's too small. Manchester United. Man United is the first name out the hat.
Union
Roma.
G.
Roma.
Firelord.
Roma, Sporting,
Roma.
Leverkusen.
I'd take anyone. We beat anyone.
Roma.
Please,
Shut up, Terry.
Juventus.
Say it,
Juventus.
say it.
Please,
No.
please, Juventus.
No.
Oh, Angira,
Please.
do us a turn here.
Union.
Do us a turn here.
Roma.
Union.
Please tell me it's Roma. Tell me it's Roma.
Roma.
Imagine that narrative.
Sevilla. Man United versus Sevilla.
You're Spain again.
Same
Spain.
city. As City.
That's
Listen,
crazy.
our results against Spanish teams have been good. Take Sevilla now. I'd much
no.
rather listen. Same
Yeah,
logic.
they're poor. They're poor.
They're
Same,
poor now,
hang
yeah.
on, same logic. I would rather. I wanted Arsenal at this stage, not the final. I'd much rather Sevilla over 2 legs than in a final.
Yeah.
No. Terry, I get it. No, all it is. It's not Sevilla the team that I don't. They're like
The
2 points
aura.
off the relegation zone.
Juve,
Yeah, they're doing bad, yeah.
Juve is out now. Juve just come out the hat. Could they
They're
get
2 points
Roma? Could it be Roma?
Juve Roma would be.
Come
would be
on.
dope.
Union Saint
Spicy.
Germain, whatever they're called.
Next team out here is gonna be. Ooh, they have got Sporting. Sporting versus
That's
Juve.
gonna be
That
interesting.
is a good.
That's gonna
That
be
is a good
interesting.
tie. But also with this though, you've now suddenly got some very much smaller teams playing each other in these quarters, which means that potentially semi-finals could be easier if you get through.
That is true. That is true. Who's this now?
Potentially, it's all potential, of course. You might be on the wrong side of the draw. Bayern Leverkusen are now out. Bayern Leverkusen out
Come
of the
on,
draw.
Roma. Come on, Roma. Come on, Roma. Roma.
This would be interesting, right.
Who is it?
They got Union Saint Goujon, or whatever
My
they're
boy
called.
Jabby's gonna make a
Union
semi-final.
Saint Grenade or whatever they're called.
Union Saint Chicken Goujon, or whatever they're called. Like,
That's rude, Terry. That's
Not them,
rude.
man.
Roma got them.
Feyenoord out of the hat, and it's Feyenoord Roma. That's all it can be. It's Feyenoord
Yeah,
Roma.
yeah.
By the way,
Okay.
if a team's name comes out twice, we've got to go again, baby.
Okay, give me.
You want Leverkusen USG? You want that?
Yeah, give me Leverkusen USG
Yeah,
as
that's
our semi-final.
Yeah, that's what you
And
want.
then I can
That is what you want.
Semi-final 3 is what I'm hoping for. Semi-final
go.
3 is what I'm hoping
Yeah,
for.
1 and
I
3.
want-
1 and 3 would be nice. But
Yeah.
either way, you got to beat the best to win it anyway.
No,
So
that is true. But to be fair, I would enjoy a Juve United final. I think that would be like a very good final.
That's a Champions League
Yeah,
final.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
The only game Paul Pogba's fit for is the final.
Who did time for a bad joke? Who did Arsenal get?
Terry, we don't do dead banter on the terrace.
That's why I said time for a bad joke. That's how dead the
Yeah,
banter is. If you actually read half these tweets and TikToks out loud, that's how it reads to me. It's like, oh my god, someone just said that.
But yeah, back to my point about
Hang on,
Sevilla.
the draw's starting here. Let's just come back to that in a second. So first,
Ranieri.
so quarterfinal 2 is out. So we want this to be
Juve.
number 4. We want this
Yeah.
to be 4. We need
Okay.
this to be 4.
No, one.
I'm flipping
Come on
behind now. I don't know.
No, it's going to be number 1. Man United will get the toughest side of the draw.
One.
We laughed at Chelsea. That's the football gods again.
One.
Come on, Salt and Gira, do us a turn.
Yeah,
Sharp.
you're waiting
Oh,
for us, man.
man's praying. He's praying.
One.
You owe us, man.
One.
You flipping owe us.
Number 1, Man United's.
You.
Hang on. Look at Dord celebrating because we might not now win the Mickey Mouse Trophy.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Yeah. Why are you happy? Don't you say this trophy means nothing? Look at his.
It means nothing, but it means a lot to United fans. That's why I want them to go out.
Look at the cab. Look at the cab.
Dord, you should be angry right now because Man United have got the chance of going out, and you said going out is less embarrassing than being in it. So you've got it wrong again. You've done
No,
yourself.
no,
You've
no,
done
no, no.
up.
It's
You've
gonna
done
be
yourself.
to see you
And
guys
it-
being
and it-
heartbroken.
And it matters more to Man United who have won more trophies than you, more European trophies than you. Come on.
And one
Come
more
on,
trophy
fam.
this season as well.
There we go. So Man United play Sevilla, and if we get through that, it will be Juve or Union Sporting or Juve. So listen, it's going to be a hard road to the final now, but big games, big games, big games.
Okay, so Sevilla, the team right now, they're not the same. They're just above the relegation zone. They've got Alex Tellez on loan. Like they're not doing great. But I'm just personally tired of Spain. I'm tired of Spain and the refs in Spain. I am just tired of them, innit? Like I just wanted them to be gone. But we can beat Sevilla. We need, to be fair, we owe them for that semi-final where we pammed them and we end up losing 2-1. We owe them for that.
Revenge season.
We can do that.
Didn't we lose the final to them as well?
No.
Because Villarreal, isn't it?
Oh, that was Villarreal. My fault. Yeah, that was.
But
listen. They're sitting. Where are they sitting in the league? They're sitting 13th in the league.
Yeah.
They're 13th in La Liga. Again, I'm not writing them off 100%. They've got a very good history in this competition, but we should be beat. Like I'm not worried about them. I'm more worried about Juve and Sporting, who I think are two of the best 4 remaining teams in this competition, probably including Roma and ourselves. So that's harder. But look, we can beat them. We just beat Real Betis, who are much better than them this year. We beat them home and away, smashed them at Old Trafford. We knocked out top of the league Barcelona and we're better than them over 2 legs. Listen, I respect Sevilla and we've got to be at our best. But am I panicking? No, would I have preferred Union Goujon? Yes, I would have definitely preferred them. But at the end of the day, we've got who we've got. Like we take it. I'd much rather be in this tournament than out of it.
Are you guys going to be all right with Thursday, Sunday football though? No,
it's going to be so hard.
I know it's
going to be so hard.
No, because they're not fighting at the elite level.
It's a struggle for
them anyway.
If I was in the Champions League, I would rather Wednesday, Saturday, because the difference between times.
Wednesday night, Saturday lunchtime.
This is why by the way, this is why you let dead banter go. Because when people say that it's too difficult to achieve playing Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, if you then let it go and just swallow that first bit of banter and swallow some pride, and then go on to qualify for the Champions League and win a tournament doing that, you then basically get from your rivals, you're able to demand even more praise because we've achieved something that you said was exceedingly difficult. That's why I say to people, keep your powder dry with banter, hold it in for a period of time, wait, and then get on properly later. It's what I do when I make meat. You marinate it, you season it, you let it, you leave it for, you don't just cook it raw out of the packet. You've got to give it some time here. That's what real banter is. So let them write us off. If we don't win it, they've written us off anyway. If we win it, they have to get on their knees and suck out because they've said it was impossible. They said it was difficult, and you will be getting on your knees, George. You'll be going, oh. That's what's going to happen.
God damn.
Oh my God, I'm down.
And one of the old board members at Old Trafford, that's who it's going to be on as well. 110. We'll add some more people in a minute, Cage. We'll do that in just a second. We'll do it in a second. Just leave it, because I'm waiting for someone. Just give us a sec. Go back to the other view for now. Sorry. A super chat came in here that says, as an Arsenal fan since the 90s, who knows what competing in Europe means? I'm embarrassed by ambitionless Arsenal fans who have accepted mediocrity. We don't respect these opinions. They are insulting. How do you feel about that when you read Gooners say that your opinions are insulting to what you should say towards Arsenal?
I don't believe in that because there's context to it. We can't. This is what I believe. We can't challenge for the Europa League and the Premier League and be at 100% in both competitions. We're gonna have to sacrifice one competition. And yes, I'm disappointed we went out, but I'm not gonna be devastated. I'm not gonna say he's embarrassing. I'm not gonna say Arteta's like. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Arteta because what he's done for the club from where we were to now is day and night. We went from being at a banter club, being 8th every single season, people laughing at us, to now challenge for the league title. That's something that we can't say anything bad about this club and these players and this manager.
It's not about saying anything's bad, but you just said you won't say it's embarrassing, but yet you call it a Mickey Mouse Cup. So how is it not embarrassing that you?
For me
wanna defend-
personally,
no. You said I'm not saying how is it not embarrassing for a team like you, like you're saying, you're top of the league, you're so good now, can't win a Mickey Mouse Cup? How's it not embarrassing?
Against Sporting.
Because it's a mentality thing for the players. I believe this is what I believe. I believe that they're not 100% because look at the way we play. You can't play like the way we played against Fulham in the Premier League and then play like the way we could have passed 2 years together in the Europe. That's not to do with ability. That was a mentality thing.
But Dawes, this is the thing I think you're missing. I'm not even having a go at you here. This is just why I think I understand. Brandon was getting cooked last night for saying that, like, if we don't win the league now, it's a failure. You can fail and not turn on the manager. You can be disappointed with losing last night without saying Arteta out. You know, you can criticize Arteta and still love him, respect him. I criticized Fergie many times when he was our manager, and he's the most successful manager in the history of football. That doesn't mean you're impervious to criticism. Where I think some Arsenal fans get frustrated is that they want the pressure applied upon the players by criticizing them when they're poor. But what they get is like overly protected. We're going to add some more people into the stream now. Lee Gunner is joining us now on the show to have you today, along with Steve as well. Welcome to the show, Lee. Thank you for joining us. We are actually talking Arsenal right now in relation to it being embarrassing to be in the competition, and it's not a problem they went out of it, is what Dawes was saying. Like, what is your take on that, bruv?
Complete garbage. Yeah, Martin Keown sat on BT Sport last night and said, "Oh, it's a good thing. It's a blessing in disguise." Martin Keown was in the squad the last time we won in Europe. How dare he? Yeah, this notion of top four is a trophy. Get in the bin. Get in the bin. We smashed the stadium down, which most of these fans weren't around to witness, to go and compete with Real Madrid. Yeah, but I put a comment in earlier and I said, Real Madrid, every loss is a disgrace to their fans. Their online fan base has not been infested with this loser mentality. Because every time they lose, go and look at their tweets and go and look at the replies. Every single one of their fans is on the manager. That manager, by the way, Don Carlo Ancelotti, has won 3 trophies since he's gone back there, including the league and the Champions League. He will be gone at the end of the season. He's won a Club World Cup, and every single game they lose, their fans want him out. None of this, oh, look at what he's done for the club crap. And that is why Real Madrid continually progress and continually stay at the top level, because their fans hold them accountable. Every single loss is a disgrace. Our fans, don't matter, don't want it anyway. Don't want it anyway. Martin Odegaard last night, coming on the pitch, coming on the pitch, wins a throw-in, getting all the fans up and all of that. Yeah, well done. Great PR, mate. Yeah, great PR. Fantastic. Yeah, at the end of the game, he comes out and goes, oh, we just got to wipe our mouths, basically, and go and get ready for the next game. Oh, don't worry about that competition, mate. Throw that in the bin. That's fine. Our manager sat there last night and said, well, we did want to try and win the game. Really? Why'd you keep Fabio on for 190 minutes out of 200 and something, yeah? 210 minutes. He literally played nearly all of the minutes in 2 games. Why did Tierney not play? Yeah, why are we playing a mix and match squad? Every time I watch Real Madrid, the team we're supposed to be competing with, they play their best 11 every week, every game. Copa del Rey, Club World Cup, La Liga, Champions League. I can pick their 11 straight away. None of this rubbish about we've got a thin squad. We've only got a thin squad because we didn't do what was required in all of the transfer windows we've had. And our fans are out there going, oh, yes, but look, we signed Jesus. Fantastic, great signing, cool. But we needed a right back, we needed a right winger, we needed a DM, and we needed a striker. Yeah, because as good as Gabriel Jesus is, he ain't really a striker, is he? Then we go and sign Trossard and Jorginho. After tracking Mudryk and Caicedo, we end up with Jorginho. The goal against Villa writes off anything else that he does for the club now. Doesn't matter because Emi Martinez, off of his shot, scored. Bigger fish to fry. We've gone out of the League Cup at the first attempt at Brighton. 4 times out of 4, this manager's knocked us out of the League Cup. 4 attempts, 4 knockouts. Europa League, 3 attempts, 3 knockouts. League title, 4 attempts, 1 still pending, 3 failures. Yeah. Then you can go to the FA Cup. Since he won it with a squad deemed not good enough, by the way, by all of this fan base, oh, that squad was toxic and negative. Well, he's binned all of them and never won it since. 3 more attempts. 13 trophies he has bottled out of 14. Yeah, and it's fine. Don't worry, on to the next one. But I'll tell you something now. The start of the season, this fan base, because of Ramsdale, Odegaard, Xhaka, and Smith Rowe, all on pre-season doing up PR about top 4 and Europa League. Then infested through the fan base. Now we're out the Europa League, don't matter. If we finish second and Spurs finish 3rd or 4th, we've both had the same season, Terry.
There's no difference.
We've both literally done nothing. The only difference is that we would have been in a title race and hung on for a little bit longer before winning nothing. Listen, at the end of the day, it is an absolute shambles, our European record. A shambles. And this fan base is sitting there going, oh, well, we can get in the Champions League. You said this fella down there, what's your name, mate? You said, let's get in the Champions League. It's been 7 years. Get in there for what? I've watched them get spanked 20 years straight. We can't even be
It's completely different now than
you've never won the Champions League, though.
Very quickly, how is it completely different? Because back then, when Wenger was our manager, number one, we had a better manager. And number two, we had better squads. We got to a Champions League semi in 2009 with a squad younger than the squad we have now. But this fan base online go, but it's a young squad. It's a young squad by design to lower the standards, which is exactly what's happened.
To lower the standards.
Have a young squad.
Guys, let's let Dawes respond to this, please. Go on, Dawes.
What do you mean to lowering the standards? Because what Arteta's done now is completely change the standards now. We've gone from being a soft team, getting bullied by every single club, to now 11 clean sheets in 14 away games in the Premier League. Okay, this club's not going backwards. Arteta's actually progressing this team. This team is going forward. And you're talking about Real Madrid. You're talking about okay, one second. You're talking about competing with Real Madrid. That was even Gazidis. He sold us that dream, saying
no.
Let me tell you something.
That was our chairman of our football club in 2004, my friend, who's no longer with us. Because when we got the funding from Barclays Bank to go and build the new stadium, our chairman came out and said, we are moving to Ashburton Grove to compete with European royalty. Yeah,
okay,
then Ivan Gazidis said it in 2012. We are now in big 2023, and you're sitting there saying top four over a trophy. You said it 20 minutes ago.
1,000,000%. I'll take top four right now, because if we won the FA Cup and League Cup this season, we finished 6th or 7th. Would you have taken that?
Yeah, 2 trophies over none. What's the aim of elite sport?
This club, we need Champions League football to go forward, okay? We need Champions League football to go forward and buy better players, okay? Winning the FA Cup and League Cup is not going to help us buy Declan Rice, buy someone like a Casado, buy a top-class winger.
We need top four to go forward and buy better players.
Champions League football. Look at these players. Look at these players nowadays. They want Champions League football. Okay, if you want to sign the elite players, they want Champions League football, not winning the FA Cup.
Please tell me in 20 years of Arsenal Football Club being in the Champions League, which world-class players we signed.
Well, that's previously. But look at the signings that Arteta's made without Champions League football, okay? Every single signing, or not every single, but majority of the signings that he's done have worked out. There's been two or three that haven't worked out.
2 or 3. Let me go through them.
Okay, but 1 second. Let me finish my sentence.
Pablo Marie.
But these were stopgaps. These were long-term signings. These were stopgaps. Okay?
William. Shall I
okay,
continue?
I know, but these were stopgaps. These weren't long-term signings. Okay, they were on like 2-3 year contracts. But I'm talking about as long-term signings, players. Majority of them have worked out. Imagine giving Arteta Champions League football and be able to fund money where he can sign top-class players. Okay, we're going forward as a football club. There shouldn't be any negativity within Arteta or this football, because why are you comparing us to Real Madrid? Real Madrid
after the game.
Real Madrid are a complete different club. They're the biggest club in the world. Okay, we're not the biggest club in the world, so we can't be comparing ourselves with Real Madrid. Okay, they've got the funding and they're in a league where they're gonna have Champions League every single season.
Real Madrid since Wenger's gone, didn't you?
I know, but in the end of the day, they're still Real Madrid. Okay, people will still go to Real Madrid over us. Okay, so you can't be comparing us to Real Madrid. Okay, we have to be realistic.
Let me just interject for a second though. So this is it. I agree with you on the sense that I think Arsenal are building something brilliant. I think Arsenal are building something that's going to be very, very dangerous. Everyone knows I rate what you're doing. At the same time, though, you can be disappointed with going out of trophies. That is essentially Lee's point here, that playing down, not winning League Cups, being knocked out the Europa League it's in your words it's more embarrassing to be in this draw today than to go out of it. That mentality is what's led to all these years with continually not winning multiple major trophies. You can be angry at your team for going out. You can be negative towards your team for a compartmentalized period of time to say that was poor last night. You were bad. That was terrible. Poor starting lineup from the manager.
Yeah, that doesn't mean. Big word.
Yeah, but you're but again, okay. So if you
no, but here's your words. If Arsenal won the league and the League Cup and the FA Cup this season, is that a better season than getting Champions League? And you're talking 5 minutes ago about the standards haven't been lowered. You said you'd take top 4 over winning the League Cup and FA Cup double this season. What planet are you on, mate?
Because we haven't had Champions League football for 7 years, bro.
But you're missing the point. you are so far clear in the top 4 race. It should be your expectation should be, well, you're going to make top 4 anyway. So why not top 4?
No, but if we were second or third and we were 10, 15 points behind Man City, I don't understand. Go for the league, go for the FA, go for the Europa League.
Why not go for both now?
Because I don't want to sacrifice winning the league to win the FA Cup or Europa League.
No, I get that. I totally get that. So on that basis, if we don't win the league, then who's being held accountable? By you? Who are you?
But it's not a failure. Going for you still have to, you need that. What's the point of supporting a football club if you don't have that hope? It's not guaranteed for us to win the league.
Doors. You can have hope and you can want to win and love your team, but still criticize the failings within a season. Why can't the question I want to understand is why can't you criticize? Why don't you think you should be able to criticize failings even within a system and a process and a club that's starting to achieve? Why can't you criticize the problem still?
Because you have to look at what we are, Terry. Okay. We haven't got the facilities. I'm looking at it as, if you bring context into this, we haven't got the facilities to be challenging for every single trophy. Okay, we prioritize the Premier League. Okay, the players, Arteta probably didn't. Arteta probably wants to win every single trophy, but Arteta's not on the pitch. He can't change the mentality of these players to challenge for every single trophy. Okay, this is a young team. This is a very inexperienced team.
Why do you keep mentioning a young teammate? Nobody mentions Erling Haaland's age when he's bagged 40 goals this season. Nobody mentions Mbappe when he was smashing records.
But it's a difference between
young age when it's going wrong,
but it's completely different when you've got 23, 24 years every single position. Okay, that's completely different than having one player.
No, it's not. It was done by design. We chose to do that, mate.
Yeah, and where's goals now? We're first right now, 5 points clear.
Okay, answer me this then. When is it acceptable for you to allow other fans, on the planet that support Arsenal to demand success? And when I say success, I don't mean finish 4th or finish top 4. I mean actually win a major honour. When is it acceptable for you? How many more years of this have we got to go through until you go, actually, now we should start winning? How many more years? Answer the question. It's simple, right?
Because this season, I believe
this season you're trying to bamboozle.
Are you talking about in the future? Next season, I expect Arsenal to challenge for every single trophy because we're gonna have a deeper squad.
That's not what I asked you. I said, when is it acceptable to demand a successful season, i.e., win, not compete, win a major honour? When is it acceptable for you? For us to be allowed to do that.
For you, it's completely different. For me, I don't class the League Cup as a major trophy.
What is it
I don't class the League Cup as a major trophy. Okay, I only class the Champions League, the Premier League, and the FA Cup as a major trophy. Okay, that's for me personally.
Well, you just said you'd take top 4 over the League Cup.
No, but I'm talking about what I class as a major trophy. So we're challenged for the league. That's going for a trophy. We're going for the league title. If we don't win the league title, we've tried our best. Arteta's taken this club to a point where we're challenging for league titles, Lee. If you said to me at the beginning of the season that Arsenal will be challenging for the league in March, you would have laughed. You would have absolutely like no chance. This club's got no chance of winning the league. Okay,
you've still not answered the question. You'd be a great politician.
So I want to say one thing about this again. But you can be proud of you challenging for a title and still be disappointed to have gone out of the Europa League. Those two things, and this is all I'm you've not really answered it. I get your point. You're saying you don't want to sacrifice. That tells me that you're not 100% happy with the quality of your squad. But next season, which starts in 5 months' time, they're going to be good enough and old enough to be able to do it. Yes, you're going to buy more. But at the same time, you're like, we don't have the facilities of other big clubs. So are you saying that the Liverpools and the Cities and the Chelseas and Man United are bigger than Arsenal? Better than Arsenal? What are you saying there?
Real Madrid squad that slapped Liverpool 5-2, the starting 11 and subs at Anfield 5-2 cost less than 350 million.
I know, but Lee, being honest, okay, you're the only Arsenal fan, Lee, that gets disappointed when we win games, okay? You're the only Arsenal fan that gets disappointed when winning games because you wait for a little blip and you say, I told
here we
you
go,
so.
the narrative
I
spin.
told
You
you
haven't
so.
answered
This
my question because you have
going
no
nowhere.
answer, my
Arteta
friend.
needs to leave. We need to get an elite manager. As a club, they shouldn't, as a team, as a fan base now this season, we should all stick together. We should all be positive because there's
positive
no
for
need.
What? We've been knocked out of 3 cup competitions to go and win a title.
If we win the league, no one's going to remember all of this. No one will go down the league, FA Cup or Europa League.
My whole point, mate. If Arsenal don't win the league, nobody's going to remember all of this. Because guess what? We've picked up the rug, swept it all under. Oh, bigger fish to fry. If we do not fry this fish that everyone's been waffling about, then you've just admitted no one's going to remember all of these cup losses. On to the next season. You have not answered my question. When is it acceptable for you to demand, or Arsenal fans to demand, a major trophy? When is it acceptable? It's been 4 years under this manager, and it's been 19 years as a football club.
I suppose.
When is it acceptable?
George, is that going to be next? Because you said next year you expect to challenge on all fronts. So next year, if you get knocked out of League Cups early, FA Cups early,
no, not League Cups. For me, I said I don't class the League Cup as a major trophy.
Okay, but you said challenge on all fronts. So if you go out of the FA Cup early next year and the Champions League early next year, you'll criticize that individually. That even if you're challenging in the Premier League, you'll criticize that. And I suppose the point where Lee's coming from, and this is a question I have as well, is, or more of a thought, a statement more than a question. I get a feeling that next year you'll move the goalpost again if you fail in certain competitions, and it will be because you say like you're the youngest squad, and you are a very young squad. Average age of 25 years and 1 month. Man United squad is 25 years and 8 months, as an example. City squad is 25 years and 3 months. But there's still a demand on these clubs to go and win things. And I think at some point that excuse, but next year you're a year older. Are you going to criticize next year if you don't challenge for the major trophies?
Yes, definitely. Because next year there'll be. That's what I mean with this club. Every single season we should have bigger objectives. This season it should be, if we can win the league, we win the league. This season our main objective was to finish top 4. Okay. Our main objective is finish top 4. If we win the league, fantastic. Next season, try to win the league again and try to go for the Champions League, the FA Cup. Okay, it should be a progression. We shouldn't be like just win the league, just go all out for FA Cup and the Europa League, and then next season let's see what happens. There should be a progression.
You're talking about progression, but then you're skipping out skips of the progression and saying you should just go straight to the top. Like progression would be you win an FA Cup, a Europa League, a Carabao Cup on your way to the Premier League.
Okay, then.
But now what you're saying is actually that's not progression. Take that out.
You're right.
And
you're
it's
right,
literally
KJ.
just go to the
Okay,
top.
would you say Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, they had a progression? Jurgen Klopp,
they got 2 finals. They got 2 finals.
No, but they didn't win no trophy. The first trophy was a Premier League trophy, Champions League trophy.
Yeah, they won the Champions League. Hold on. Their first season under Klopp, they got their first full season. They got top 4. The second season. So, i.e., after they qualified, they got straight to the final and lost to the Champions League. The following season, they got to the final and won it. What are you chatting about?
I know, but they still didn't win a trophy for the first 2 seasons.
But you're missing the point of this. Liverpool fans were disappointed with that.
Yeah, disappointed. Yes, but not a failure.
This is where I want. Yeah, again, but okay. But if you fail to win, again, you're focusing on the semantics. What word is being used? What do you call being knocked out of a competition? What other word than failure would you use?
No, but there's context to it, Terry.
Stop. Because I've been very fair to Arsenal this year, and I'm going to be very fair to Arsenal. That's what I do as a host. But what other word do you want people to use other than failure? What's the other word for it? What else would you call it? What other feeling should people use when they're disappointed? What should the word be?
I know,
you're arguing semantics, so you've got to give us another word. What's the other word to use?
Terry, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that wanted us to go out of the Europa League early to concentrate on the league. Okay, it wasn't where
I'm not talking about them. Let's not go off track. You said failure is the wrong word. So what is the right word?
I'm just saying I'm disappointed of going out of the Europa League. That's all it is. I'm just disappointed.
But now you're admitting the truth. You are disappointed. And that's where rival fans will get annoyed at you because you're saying it doesn't matter. It's a minor. If there's look, I'm disappointed. And now actually, and this is what a lot of Gooners said on the terrace last night, I'm disappointed we've gone out. Now we can focus only on the Premier League. So I expect us to go on and win now. That for me is the right attitude. Because you've got one less competition. You said playing Thursday, Sundays is really, really hard. That's going to get in your way. But saying it's a Mickey Mouse trophy,
what we're going to do next season when it's Tuesday,
more embarrassing
Saturday,
to be in it. That's where you bring Arsenal fans down. That's where a lot of Gooners will look at it and go, mate, why are you saying that? To say that you're not disappointed is fake. Now, the word failure, I don't know what the word failure means. Defeat. The word failure means collapse. The word failure, it means misfiring or loss. It's all the same word. You're focusing on semantics. Like when I say that people are scared of Arsenal, I don't mean hiding under their bed, shivering, phoning their mummy. I mean fearful of how good they are in playing them and competing against them. And as a fact, people are growing that fear around Arsenal, everyone at different stages and times. But you fouled last night. Man United, right, We fouled in our game against Liverpool. We fouled in those moments. Saying that word should not be seen as negative and horrible towards Mikel Arteta. It's not a condemnation of him. It's talking about an isolated game or moment, saying that isn't good enough and it needs to improve. Because if you don't improve in those areas, you're never going to reach the Real Madrid levels of winning multiple major trophies in one season, Champions Leagues, and being looked at as a giant of European football. And surely that's what you're striving to achieve. Two things can exist at once: being happy and proud of your squad, the direction that you're going in, and loving your manager, but equally demanding brilliance. They should both coincide with one another at exactly the same time. They surely have to.
I've got another question as well. What would you say about process and project and young squad and all of that? Yeah. What was the actual aim at the start of this project process? What is the end goal, do you think, for the football club? And when does that end goal come to fruition?
Arteta said, was it before, not last season? Yeah, I think beginning of last season. His main objective was to start winning the Champions League and the leagues and challenging for the major trophies, because this is what he's learned from Man City and Pep Guardiola. So we've got a manager who's got high expectations. Arteta's got very, very high expectations. He wants to go for the major. It's not like Arteta back then, when you won't see Arteta coming out and saying top 4 is a trophy or finishes top 4, giving that mentality.
He literally said that the other day. He said phase 4 is to get in the top 4.
No, but he said his long-term objective is to win the Champions League and the Premier League. Okay. So I believe that if we win the league this season, is that a miracle, Lee? Yes or no?
A miracle?
If we win the league,
you're going on like
from where we were to win the league now.
We're not Leicester, mate.
From where we were to now.
What do you mean where we were?
End of the last season.
Do you know how much money Arsenal have spent in the last 10 years? In the last 10 years, we spent over £1 billion, mate. You're talking like with some tin pot football.
No, but Arteta didn't spend £1 billion, okay?
No, he spent 4/10 of it.
That was the
And you're still talking about the squad's not good enough to challenge for a League Cup or an FA Cup or Europa League. At the start of the season, this fan base en masse said we'll walk the Europa League. I sat on here on straight facts and said I don't know where they're getting this idea that we're going to walk the Europa League. Yeah, I said Jose Mourinho's in it. How can Roma get further than us? How can they get further than us? Jose can't compete with Inter Milan. Jose can't compete financially with all the other clubs in Italy. So how's Jose 3 points off second in the next round of the Europa League after winning the Conference League? How is it possible for a club like Roma to do that when they're in a league where they can't compete? Yeah, it makes no sense what you're saying. You're making out with Barnett.
Yeah, you said one thing there. You said one thing. Sorry, you said one thing that baffled me. You said Arteta has learned from Pep, so therefore his standards are high. But at the same time, you're dismissing the amount of Carabao Cups that Pep has won and FA Cups that Pep has won because you want to say Arteta's.
No,
how
but
can Arteta be learning from Pep and be of the same mindset when he's not being able to win the smaller cups along the way to win the Premier League?
Okay,
that don't make no sense.
Yeah, but like I said before, he has that mentality. The players still don't have that mentality on the pitch.
So then he's failing
to win every single trophy.
So then he's failing as a manager because he can't implement his mentality
from his standards. Yes,
from his own standards. If you're saying that he's got the mentality but the players do not, he's then failing to then be a manager because he's supposed to implement that winning mentality onto his players. So therefore he's failing. So what is he doing? Is he achieving because he's getting you somewhere, or is he failing because he's not implementing this winning mentality that he's got?
I think this is the thing, right? This is where rivals will get frustrated, I think. And this is even with me. Again, I've praised Arsenal this year, as I mentioned many times. There's moments where like we're the best in the world now. I've heard many Gooners have come on the terrace and I think we're the best team in the world right now. And then whenever you lose a game, it's like, yeah, we're not quite there. We're not quite ready yet. But if a rival then says, I don't think they're quite there. I don't think they're quite ready yet. There's anger and frustration that are being doubted. If you're someone that thinks we're not quite there yet, you've got to maintain that the whole way through. If you think you're the best in the world or one of the best in the world, and then you lose, there has to be disappointment. The problem is that it's the chopping and the changing of narratives and directions when something goes wrong. And for me, I praised Arsenal this year. I think you're an excellent team. I think you're a brilliant team. I think you're going to win the league. Equally, last night, going out the way you did to Sporting Lisbon should be seen as an isolated failure within the season. And I think what it also demonstrates is that certain players in your squad, the Holdings and the Nelsons of this world, aren't of the level to step in and win you big games when you need them to. So, therefore, further investment is needed in your squad, which is a normal thing. Now, that doesn't mean Arteta's crap. You're having a pop at Arteta. Arteta isn't a great manager. It doesn't mean any of those things. It's just the reality of things. Pep Guardiola sells players, doesn't he? And he buys new players every year. Why? Because certain people go past their sell-by date. Certain players don't meet the standards. You need to refresh things at all times. City tends to go hard on the transfer when they miss out on tournaments and competitions, or if they don't win the league. What City, if they don't win the league this year? Look how big they go in the summer. They don't just go, well, we're normally the best team. It's not a failure because we've won it 4 of the last 5 years. It will be looked at as an abject failure by Pep himself, and we've got to go out in the summer, invest more, and try and win. That mentality, Dawes, needs to, from all Arsenal fans, needs to be pushed in. You can have that same thought process and still love your manager and support him, because that's what City fans do with Pep. It's what Man United fans did with Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't understand this notion of, because I love and respect this manager, I won't criticize anything that goes wrong. That for me isn't going to work. I want to go through some of these super chats, though, just because I don't want to disrespect them. Ricky says, I have to admit that Liverpool, United, and Chelsea will always be superior until we compete and win in Europe. You're embarrassing Arsenal fans with Mickey Mouse trophies instead of aspiring for better. Eric says, F that, Arsenal must try to win everything every season. That's it. Lee is spot on. I suppose for Wenger, the game changed in 2010s and he didn't. City is the only model now that want to win every cup. Else you don't call yourself a big club.
Facts.
Arsenal will be better off without wacky Thursday football, is what Hadi has got to say. So agreeing with Dawes here.
Very quickly, how are we going to compete on Tuesday, Saturday next season? Just saying.
Because we'll have a deeper squad and better players.
Cool.
Fair enough. Steve says, how can a man have that forehead with nothing inside it? Listen, don't have a go at hairline. It could be
Who's he talking about here?
In fairness, it could be. We've all of us on here have got pretty big foreheads. So it could be any one of us four. Thank you, Steve-O. Dave here says, Lee Gunner, if you had a time machine, would you take back your derogatory comments about Mikel, or would you go back, or would you back the process knowing he's proving your whole view on him wrong?
He ain't proved me wrong. He's still not finished above Unai Emery yet. He still hasn't amassed more points than Unai Emery. And he's embarrassed us every year in Europe. He ain't proved nothing, mate.
If we win the league, Lee,
if he wins the league, well done to him. The club
finally
done what they're supposed to do, and why I've waited 19 years for. Yeah. Why
okay, are you going to do an apology video if we win the league?
Apologies for what? Everything I said at the time was spot on.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question very quickly. What year did you start supporting Arsenal, just out of interest?
06.
06. So, Champions League. Oh, Champions League. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Champions League final. Cool. But now you're happy. You're happy just to be in it now. Okay. Not win anything. Cool.
You know, I always like when people ask me that about United and I say 1988 and I go, oh, God, did football exist then? Or, we were crap. And we were crap.
Funny enough, that was the year I supported Arsenal. Started supporting Arsenal.
I know. Mike here says, Tessa has done well so far. However, he is not void of criticism. If he doesn't win a major trophy this year, there should be major pressure on him next year. And if he doesn't win a trophy next year, sack him, is what Mike says. Do you agree with that, Dawes? Like, if you fail to win the league this year, or not foul, if you don't win the league, I don't want to use the word foul and trigger you. If you don't win the league this year, how I invest in, and then next year you don't win a major trophy, would you then say sack the manager, or do you still think give him time?
Depending on where we are next year. If we're nowhere near the winning the league next year and we're around 3rd and 4th, yeah, there's no progression. But I believe that this with Arteta, we're getting better and better every year. And I believe that if we win the league this year, we shouldn't have won the league this year. If we win the league this year, next year we're still going to be around 1st and 2nd next year. So yeah, I still believe in Arteta, and there shouldn't be any criticism for him this season, because what he's doing is beyond expectation.
I hear you on that. I do.
Your expectation, not mine.
Yeah,
19 years, longest title drought in the club's history. 30 years without a European trophy. Yeah, your expectations are in the bin compared to mine, mate. It's chalk.
No, but you're like probably 0.001% of your mentality is probably 0.01%.
Not really. Kenny Ken was at the ground last night, and there was fans fighting outside the stadium, mate. Yeah, so that shouldn't be about online.
I don't know how the
0.1%. There was fans arguing all through the game about it's a shit cup and all of that. And other fans saying, well, why are you here then? Then it was all kicking off outside the ground. So don't have this notion, of people don't want to win, because the ones that go to the ground, mate, actually do. Yeah, Kenny goes every home game. Yeah, and he said again after the Fulham game, he said this top four. He goes, that's an online thing, mate. He goes, these fans that are away at Fulham, They want the league. Yeah, and they see that
Yeah,
as the
I want the
success,
league.
not-
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
It's not
but
like I
they'll
don't want the
see-
league.
They'll see that as failure if we don't win it. Yeah, 60,000 in that ground last night. Yeah, half of them didn't want to be there, so why did you go and not let your ticket go someone else? And the other half, was saying, no, it's a joke we're out of the competition.
Okay,
So let's not try and pretend that
if
I'm
we don't win the
0.1%
league,
out of
one second,
high
quick question.
standards, mate, 'cause
If
I
we don't
ain't.
win the league, are you at Totoro if we don't win the league?
Well, I've said this on the show before. I'm straight facts. If we finish anything more than 6 points, 6 points or more behind Man City, sack him. Sack him. We were 8 points clear, mate. That's what I'm saying. There's millions of fans like you, fella, yeah, that have allowed this to happen for years and years and years of giving no accountability for repeated failure.
Sack him. If we finish more than 6 points than Man City,
6 points or more behind Man City, sack him.
And get who to replace him? Get who?
Well, this is another thing that people keep saying. If I name a manager now, you'll rip that manager apart. So it don't matter, does it?
You're probably going to say someone like Luis Enrique or something like that. Yeah. You probably.
Well, I personally, Luis Enrique, cool, great manager and all of that. Not really for me. Yeah, get fucking Don Simeone in there instantly, and you're straight away go, well, why do you want him? It's negative football. There you go. I can read you fans like a book. You all sound the same.
That's the one thing about these. Who would you want to replace this manager? Question that I don't like is you give an answer, and every time it's, oh no, but not him. But you asked the question, he gave you an answer.
Exactly. If Mikel Arteta leaves, right? Say we don't win the league. Right, and Real Madrid come calling because they want a new manager. Atleti looking for a new manager in the summer because Simeone's leaving. Yeah, Inter Milan need a new manager. Other clubs will need new managers. If a club comes in and throws £1 billion at Arteta and says, "Come and manage us," and he leaves, what should we just shut the football club down then? Because nobody's better.
Well, exactly. Have you seen what's happening at Tottenham? Have you seen what's happening at Tottenham with Antonio Conte? You probably would have took Antonio Conte.
You're talking about Spurs.
When Unai Emery was sacked, you probably would have took Antonio Conte and stuck with this negative football and going the same spiral. All is toxic within the club. Look how toxic it is at Tottenham, and you want to bring that same toxicity into Arsenal within the players.
Negative. Okay, listen, Dodge, you're misconstruing. Negative football is not toxic. Managers are toxic. You're talking about Conte, the manager. Simeone. He could not be. He might play negative football, but not be a toxic manager. Those are two different.
How is it negative winning trophies? Look at Simeone's record at Atleti. How can Atleti compete with Real Madrid and Barca, but we can't?
But look at Simeone's record in the Champions League in the past couple of years.
No. You're just no. Let's not rewrite.
Look at Antonio Conte in the Champions League. Has Antonio Conte ever been in the semi-final or final in the Champions League? Antonio Conte.
No, we're not talking about Conte. I'm talking about Simeone. Why'd you keep
but I'm talking about toxic football. Negative football doesn't work anymore.
Negative football doesn't work anymore. How's Jose in the next round of the competition then?
No, but look at Jose Mourinho. He's not winning any major trophies, anymore.
Yeah.
Toxic football. Every single upcoming manager and the new batch of managers, they don't play any of this negative football. It's all about progressive football nowadays. With Arteta.
So you're telling me that Atletico Madrid have been playing negative football and been getting away with it, but now they're going away. Everything's going away from that, and that type of manager is obsolete now. Is that what you're saying?
I believe that Conte, managers like Conte, Simeone.
Why do you keep mentioning Conte, mate? I'm talking about Simeone.
All of these type of managers, because they're all similar managers. All these type of managers, I don't believe they'll manage an elite club anymore because of the style of football.
So you don't think when Simeone leaves the club at the end of the season at Atleti, he's not going to get an elite level football club?
No, he'll probably get an AC Milan or
AC Milan not an elite level football club?
No, AC Milan are not a massive European giant anymore. They're not.
Bro, not. I swear, you must be doing
Rafael Leao and all of these Tonali and all of these elite
players. They literally won the league last season. They're the current champions of Italy. What are you chatting about?
We're talking about a club that's actually going to challenge for the Champions League. AC Milan are not going to challenge for the Champions League for the next 3-4 years.
They're still in it. They're still in it.
No, but they're in it, but they're not going to challenge for the next 3-4 years because they don't have the financial capability.
You're guessing. They're in it, mate. So they got a chance to win it. They drew Napoli today.
Yeah, but I'm told they're not. Napoli are in the Champions League. But do you think Napoli, if they sell, Napoli will most likely sell Osimhen or Kvaratskhelia in the summer?
What you do,
they're going to go backwards.
What you do, right? Because you divert, you talk a lot and don't say nothing. Yeah, and then it bamboozles people to forget what the actual first point was that I wanted to ask you. And you can smile all you like. I ain't dumb. I know what you're doing.
No, because you say that you'd sack Arteta and bring Simeone, and that is beyond. That's crazy.
Simeone won La Liga two
seasons ago. He's won the league, La Liga, and the cup double, winning the cup at Real Madrid's game. First time.
And you have him at Arsenal. You've had Simeone at Arsenal.
I'll take Simeone in a heartbeat at Arsenal. Yeah, because I'll tell you something now. If fucking get rid of half of the fans like you, mate, that chat shit and fucking want to sit there waffling about top four, because the mentality would completely change into a winning one. Yeah, and half of these fans that don't like all of this negative football would go and support someone else. Yeah,
I think you are the only guy in the world that would want Simeone instead of Arteta.
Not really.
Only guy in the world.
I'm the only person on the planet. Okay.
Listen, guys, I want to thank you all very much for having this debate. It was entertaining to watch and listen to two different ideologies here. It's really crazy when I listen to both Lee and Dawes, because I agree with parts of both of them. Standards have got to be high, just as Lee says, no doubt. Dawes, I agree with you that you're building something that could be very, very special. But then there is this medium ground.
When Rangnick got sacked, would you have taken Antonio Conte ahead of Erik ten Hag?
No, but Lee didn't ask for Antonio Conte.
No, but I'm saying to you, Antonio Conte is an elite manager. He wins trophies.
So my issue with Antonio Conte wasn't his style of football. My issue with Antonio Conte is that if he doesn't get what he wants, he becomes very, very toxic. It doesn't last very long at football clubs. That's why Man United, his style of football isn't ideal for Man United. But for me personally, if we were winning trophies and competing consistently, I don't care. I want to win first always. However, it was his behavior and attitude is why I wouldn't want him. But all I would say to you, Dawes, the only thing I think is wrong with your thought on Arsenal is the notion of, because I love what we're doing, I'm not going to criticize or publicly express any disappointment towards anything. And I do think that's a slippery slope, because you have to put pressure on the players and the managers to continue to win. You win the league this year, there has to be big pressure on retaining it next year. Not, well, retaining the league's hard, so therefore I'm not going to put the pressure upon us to win it. That's how you guys got into the Wenger situation, where the standards were slowly eroded and lowered every year. That's the only thing I would say to you, is to be mindful of.
Okay,
so you've got to keep the standards high. That's all I would say.
I'll say one more thing, Terry. The unity that the fan base has had this season. If a couple of seasons ago, I remember if we were 2-0 down against Bournemouth, fans would have been walking out the stadium.
Talking about unity, fans were punching each other up in a boozer in Leicester.
Okay, but I'm talking about at the Emirates. Every single fan base, 2-0 down.
Well, at the Emirates last night, they were arguing over getting knocked out the Champions League, the Europa League.
You know what, a lot of your fans are together, but one of the reasons that your fans are together is because you're challenging for the title. And of course, you're going to be positive because you're like, we can do this, guys. But within that, there has to be an element of, but you've got to do better in these circumstances. Constructive criticism is not negativity. You need it in life. You really, really do need it in life. Listen, I want to thank. I know that we were going to bring the rest of the guys out, but I've literally I've got some more work to do before the show at 6 p.m. So I've got to end the stream now. I want to say thank you to everybody that has tuned in, to all of our super chatters and members. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support. It means a great deal. Dawes, thank you for that. Lee as well. KJ is my co-host on the show today. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again.